Alright, welcome to Fighter Fridays. Excuse me. We got a bit of a special one today. We're going to spend the first hour playing them's fighting herds to try and get our a good round of characters, since we did not get to see them all last time. Hopefully in the first hour we can fight an Oleander player and fight a Pom player, so that we can see some of that. In fact, I see Oleander right now, but she's AFK. So we won't bother her. Oh, here's an Oleander, also AFK. Oh, you just moved. Let's go. I'm gonna try it. Okay, yeah. Alright, here we go. Let's go with 3 with a 200 ping. Shh, squeaky. Now's not a time. It's not cry time.
Shanty. That cheese as good as mine.
Do I remember how to play? Let's find out.
In a bake for mercy already?
Oh no, it's Velvet.
Prepared for magnificence. Round 1. Fight.
I can. Would you like to see that? I just really like Shanty. Oof. Okay, I do remember a few things.
And that's that. Got any good loot on ya? Round 2.
True. Now, the 2 in particular, I could probably try Oleander, but Pom I am terrible with. Oof. Oh man.
It's over now. And that's that. Got any good loot on ya?
I like how the songs have little endings. Oh, can y'all hear the game? I remember this game was a little quieter.
Me dare if you take what's mine. Let us break the ice. Ready?
Oh man. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, there are definitely people that prefer Stormblood. I like Heaven's Word a little more, but, you know. Oh man. I didn't dislike Stormblood, except for like one particular aspect of it that I thought it wasn't so much bad, it just, I wish they had done it differently. Okay, cool. Oh, alright, I gotta use her powers.
I broke you without breaking a sweat. Round 2. Fight. Don't
Didn't really help me at all. Wow. I got destroyed.
Velvet wins. Rematch?
One more again. I'm gonna try to mimic.
You're a posh one, ain't ya? And what are you supposed to be? Ready?
I'm a goat.
Fight.
Oh.
If it ain't bolted down, it's fair game. That was close. Round 2. Fight!
Yeah, I don't know what, like, if I could really nail it down. I think part of it was just, like, kind of figuring out what Ice Heart was about finally, because for a long time, that was one of those, like, things that just, it took months playing at the end of 2.x to kind of figure out, like, okay, what's her deal? Because I wasn't convinced that she was a bad character at all, even though the game was, like, trying to be like, hey, this character's terrible. I'm like, no, I really don't think so. Oh, I was about to say, how did I win? I didn't.
Final round. Fight! Not yet.
So I liked the, you know, going off and kind of trying to, you know, win over some of the dragons at least to try and end the war. That to me was a much more interesting, I guess, story arc than that kind of, and really that's the element of Stormblood that I didn't care for, was the disjointed nature of it. I don't know why I did that. That was a waste.
And that's that. Got any good loot on ya? Shanty.
Hey, Squeaky.
Where to from here?
Okay. Let's try this Oleander and see if she's actually an Oleander. If she isn't actually AFK. Got someone training. Is this the same area I was in before? I think it's a different area. I have no salt. That's fair. There's certainly that element to it. Oops. Excuse me. I feel like there is something to these maps, I just don't do enough with them. There's some weird latency going on here. Is this a map? No. What do we got? We'll go 1.
Take your pick. Shanty. Captain on the bridge! Well, not yet, but soon!
Skeeters.
Wind's blowing in my favor today. Fred, look alive. Of course.
Oh hey, this is Oleander.
Fight.
So you can see what she's about. She's very magical. Of course, she is a unicorn, so... Very good Oleander player. Oh, teleporting.
A minor setback. KO. Logical outcome, really. Round 2. Fight!
Man, I'm having trouble keeping track of where my character is with all the effects on screen. Yeah.
I don't have the time or crayons to teach you how to fight. Oleander wins.
Well, okay then. Let's try that again.
Where to from here? We get ourselves a stowaway. It's me. I'm your stowaway. Round 1. Fight. Get back.
Yeah.
So naive trying to beat me. Round 2. Fight.
Yeah, that wasn't gonna work forever.
We can't lose us, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Fred.
Away!
I can't use supers the way I think I can, like, because they're never like safe.
Back to business.
I feel like they're always expected to be used offensively and never defensively. We'll go one more round, but like this is
Where to from here?
this is not an even match.
Fancy book. Wonder what it costs. Is this a game to you?
Fancy a magic pack?
Round 1. Fight.
But you're definitely seeing what Oleander's all about.
Just getting started.
Yeah, I'm just not, or I'm not blocking correctly. Whoops.
You done yet? Darkness. KO. So naive trying to beat me.
I like her song a lot though.
Round 2. Fight. You done yet? Got it.
I'm following the mantra of block low much of the time, but I'm not standing up when she gets into the air. Oh, that was a really good crossover, where she initiates the attack with her book, and then teleports behind me, so I suddenly have to be blocking the other direction. So I'm gonna eat the book attack. So yeah, that was. I mean, that's really good. I can't step to that. Huh. I guess some treasure boxes appear occasionally, and that's how that works. How about... Did I fight Walking Bed earlier? I don't think I did. I guess I could keep playing that other guy. Not sure what this is though. Oh.
Take your pick. Shanty. Ain't no treasure safe from me.
I don't know if it's gonna be another Oleander beatdown, but we'll see. Yep.
Thundering's my game. Fred, look alive. Of course. Ready? Fight. Behind ya!
Oh. Yeah, it's the same person. There wasn't... The only other person who wasn't AFK was a guy that declined my battle challenge, so it's like, well, there's no one really to play. And I think it's probably better to get beat up than not do anything. Oh, her low range is so good.
You're dumb. You lost, and you're dumb.
Skitters.
Round two. Fight. Away! Got it. Fucking spiffy.
Hello, on Fred.
It's not as bad as it was where I can at least follow where I'm... Oh, man. I know where I am now while Fred's out, but I don't know where his hurt boxes is. So, he'll be out, and if he's doing anything, I just don't know where the danger is. He just seems like this big mass of, like, oh no. Oh, it's like a line. Okay, cool. Alright. Wonder if I can watch. Yes, I can. Okay. Fred is her little book demon that comes out when she uses her level 2 super. Let's watch this matchup. See how this goes. If it loads. This is the arcade experience, though, waiting in line until it's your turn. Oh, hey, we got a Paprika versus Chenho.
Come, show me your power. Ready? Fight! Too close. Well done. Again.
Wow. So many hits just going all over the place.
No more
It's funny, when this game came out, the native resolution was 720p, and it was actually kind of recent when they did this UI buff where like they changed the native resolution to 1080p, because that just became the new standard. And so they made the UI look nicer and all the characters, you know, look nicer.
A match well fought, but not well enough.
And I find it is noticeable compared to like when it first came out.
Round 2. Fight! Smothering kick!
Something I could mention, Chenho's magic, which is like her air dash, possibly. Well, I don't know. We just had a tournament called the Grand Stampede, and I don't actually know. I didn't watch any of it, but I imagine like whoever won that tournament is easily among the best in the world, if not the best in the world. But there's, unfortunately, the sad truth is there just aren't that many players of this game. But Paprika's magic, she just starts with 6, and her magic is expended when she throws objects out. Like, she has a little cannon that she'll fire, and like objects will come out that have varying effects, and it's completely random. But she doesn't get it back. She just starts with it full, and then you have that's your like amount for the round. Whereas Chenho's will come back. It comes back faster if you're close to your opponent. And that was, it wasn't quite a shutout, but it was pretty, it's pretty much a shutout. Oh, I guess it's my turn. Maybe. I don't know how many people are in this line now. Oh, it's me. Alright, here we go. I'm not AFK. I'm in there. Let's go with 1. This person is very, very good, though.
Take your pick. Shanty. That key's as good as mine.
I need to use her magic more. I don't ever think to use it. I don't ever think to build it up with her little A ability. Right, Skeeters? You see this bug? It's been hanging out here. Oh man, Oleander for me.
Look alive. Of course. Ready? Fight. Behind ya.
Ooh, backdash, man. Now just watch the carnage for a moment. Oh man, that trap page got me. I'll throw. Trying to play a little more defensive, but it's not helping me too much. She's got combos. Ah.
My cause is righteous. Do not get in my way. Oleander wins.
There's no time for me to change the delay because it's like you're just watching. Don't worry about it. Once 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 you're hit, essentially, it becomes a you wait until you have a chance to escape because the combo is the combo, and this game is a very combo heavy one, so it's not quite to the level where there are
You insult
infinites.
me. That was an insult, right? Ready? Fight! Impressive.
Next I'm gonna play Pom myself. If I'm just gonna get destroyed, it doesn't matter. Just so you can see her, you know.
No more games.
You hear that sudden musical switch over to the Chanho variant.
It's over now. With every lesson comes understanding. Round 2. Fight.
I love that. Like, you'll hear the kind of, like, Chinese instrumentation in the background. Some games have escape mechanics, like Guilty Gear has burst. You can just fire, like, occasionally. I know Skullgirls has a system where, like, if they repeat a part of the combo, then you can escape just by pushing any button. This game has a different sort of system. There's a bar along the top. Like, you see their life bar, and then right underneath it, is a weight gauge. It basically makes it so that the longer a combo goes on, the more the character will weigh. And eventually it'll get to where, like, they can't be popped up anymore. They'll just fall. And then that's the end of the combo. But yeah, it's a very combo heavy game, so those kinds of long combos are encouraged, which is why they don't, you know, they won't like kill you in one shot. They'll like just take a part of your life bar. But yeah, like I as a player would be expected to like I would be expected to learn long combos with my characters so that you know, so I can compete essentially. Like, my combo's okay, but, you know, it's not anything.
I don't want to be here.
Yep, she's a lamb.
Can we just talk?
Come, show me your power. Ready? Fight!
Here, boy.
Oh, her little bell. I forgot about that. When she gets hit, her little bell will ring. Wow. No, I'm not. This person's probably just a player. Like, not like me who's, you know, new person who showed up one time to play this game.
Like a moth to the flame. Round 2. Fight.
Here, boy.
Now it's my turn. Do not
Yeah.
let defeat be the end.
Pom has her dogs, but that's really all I can say. I don't know how to use this character at all. She summons them, they can come out and do things. That's really all I can say. But that's what she looks like. Oh, that's funny. Man, what could they be saying about me? Actually, if I'm lucky, one of these people will be like, "Oh, how could you insult Pom like that? Here, let me show you how Pom should be played," and then we'll get to see some Pom action. But yeah, that's about the best I could do. All right, here we go. Oh, it's a Velvet player.
Declare me the winner.
Come, show me your power.
Round 1. Fight.
Pom. Yes, that's the character I was playing just a moment ago. It's interesting playing Velvet this way, like where she's up in their face. That's generally not what she likes to do. I'm sure you remember that Velvet player from last week that liked to stay back and like I had to get close somehow. I think I even played one today that was like that, like just playing Velvet way back, because that's generally what she likes. If you look at her magic, it slowly builds up, but it builds up faster if the characters are further apart. And yeah, generally it's Chenhu who wants to be up in their face.
Well fought, but not well enough.
But still, she was doing very good considering she was getting up there, you know? Yeah. Yeah, Chenhu's level 2 is an install similar to, Shanty. I don't remember exactly what it allows her to do. I think it like gives her more access to flight than she would normally have, which is why her magic isn't hardly going down. Yeah, these two characters are very much like polar opposites, where one of them's fire themed and up close, and the other one's ice themed and wants to stay far away. At least normally I would say that's true, but this Velvet player is real close. Very curious. Wow, okay.
I broke you without breaking a sweat.
That was close. Final round.
Here we go, round 3.
You little...
Yeah, something to mention about Pom is she was the last character that was ready for this game, and she's probably one of the only characters in Fighting is Magic that really didn't have any sort of presence in that game, just because she just was not ready at all. I would put Rarity, who became Velvet, in that same category, but
You were beaten by the best.
Velvet was one of the first characters that was announced for this game, like when the actual changeover happened. Like, it was Arizona and, you know, actually I could be wrong about that. I want to say maybe Rarity was there from the start. I'm just misremembering. It was so funny, like, thinking back, Velvet is such a, like, makes perfect sense in my mind. Like, that, of course that's how it happened. Because, like, it was just gemstones and not ice crystals, but ice crystals is just so perfect of a replacement, and the fact that she's a reindeer is really cool. I think they did I mean, design-wise, stellar work.
Snuggles here.
Round 1. Fight.
Something Lauren Faust talked about when designing the characters for this game is, she said that it was like the main 6, but if they were allowed to have more character flaws, because I think for ponies, because it was such a, oh no, you're fine. For My Little Pony, the characters had to be like sort of idealized because you know, it was a show for youngins. Hi Angelina, I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting destroyed in this game. Not right now. I'm spectating. I'm in line, but yeah, like when you know, that was one thing she said she kind of liked about designing these characters is she got to oh wow, is everything okay? She designed, you know, she got to design them with more flaws, and that was more fun for her. Like, kind of made them more realistic than the main 6 ponies.
It's over now.
Man, this Velvet player is really scary.
Not worth the effort.
Velvet wins.
Oh, okay. Man, making me nervous. Alright, my turn. My turn to get destroyed by this Velvet. This really scary Velvet. Let's go to 1.
Take your pick.
Alright, back to Shanty.
Shanty.
Captain on the bridge. Well, not yet.
Let us break the ice.
I haven't seen that. I mean, I'm sure they exist, because they always do, but I haven't actually seen it.
Fight.
This person going super easy on me? No, not at all. That was a good response.
Beautiful. Did you slip?
Oof. Oof.
Looking spiffy.
Oh, I thought that would hit. Oh, no, not doing too good. Oh. I was hoping to get a little bit further in there, but
Worth the effort.
not so. Not so.
Round 2. Fight.
Ooh.
Looking spiffy.
Oh, that's an overhead. That's what that is.
It's over now.
Was it good for you too?
Velvet wins.
That second round was a shutout. But actually it did a little bit better. That's a weird thing. I think because of that early combo, I did okay. Alright, Uma Are, let's see how you do a little bit better. Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. Okay. Yes, I do remember this. I read some fics that had those characters. Yep, I do recall that now. It's funny how it comes back. Like you just see a name and it's just like, oh yeah.
Let us break the ice. I hope you have been keeping up with your training.
Round one.
I think these two are probably the best players in this lobby, so this is probably gonna be the most dynamic battle we're gonna get. But anytime that it's not these two, either Ablaze Emblemir or Uma Are is just tearing up. I mean, yeah, they're lovable characters. I actually am looking forward to meeting these characters a lot more. Like, we get to see a lot of Arizona and a little bit of Velvet because that's the story mode that's released, but I did get the chance to take a look at the development, like, roadmap, which came out earlier this year. They were talking about how their next big, like, hope for a release is the level 3 supers, which tend to be, like, are generally more flashy and dynamic, which I got to see some of the work in progress stuff, and it looks really good. It's actually here on YouTube if you want to check it out at some point.
You have much to learn.
It looks really good. So that's going to come out at some point, presumably, and then after that, they're going to continue the story mode with Velvet's chapter. So.
Well done.
And they said apparently they've got all the groundwork laid out because of Arizona's chapter being done. The story chapter should come quicker. They did not give a date. They didn't even give an estimate because they basically said when they first put out their first estimate, which would have been like, oh gosh, where was it? It was like, I want to say it was 2019. Like they were saying something like it's going to be ready by the end of the year. And then it wasn't. They had to delay it something like 6 months. It was crazy. So they basically said from then on, like they weren't going to give release dates anymore because they didn't want to like miss it horribly and have people be disappointed. So they weren't going to give any dates until they were in final testing because they didn't want to crunch and they didn't want to like rush anything. So it's just a matter of. To me, it seems like they would be reasonably far along, though. You know, so I feel like we might get something before the end of the year, hopefully. I mean, fingers crossed. But yeah, that's kind of like giving me hope that I'll be coming back to this game as like more and more content comes out.
Ain't no treasure safe for me.
Although no characters announced yet, but you know, other stuff. As for ranked, I did look that up too. They said basically that they weren't really worried about ranked because they don't have anyone who's like really, you know, really knows their stuff with the netcode and the matchmaking and not the netcode, but the matchmaking aspect. And they're worried that the community might be too small to justify that. And I'll be honest, I would have thought they would have had an episode like that. Or at least that featured a bunch of male characters as like the focus for that episode. Maybe not the main 6, but just 6 other characters. Yep, this is familiar. Ah, did I even touch her? Yes, I did. Okay. Wasn't a perfect.
Do not let defeat be the end.
Round 2. Fight.
I said A. Oh, throw. Gotta throw escape. Oh, almost blocked better. Oh no, okay. I meant touch as in caught deal damage. Oh! Come on, give me one more. No, no, not gonna happen? Okay. I think I would have been a respectable loss if I had taken her down to, like, that lower section of life. You know where it does, like, this action? If it had gone down there, I feel like that would have been respectable. But, nope, it was an embarrassing defeat just like before. Skaters. Now's as good a time as any to show off my bug. Y'all see her looking off at something else? This is not a chair decoration. This is a bug. Who is this? Oh, Blaze. This is the big one. Alright, let's see it. A Blaze is such a curious one because I always think of like Velvet's intent is to want to stay away, but this Velvet player gets in your face.
Never seen perfection before.
Come, show me your power. Round 1. Fight. Now it's my turn.
They're like crossing over nonsense. It's funny how it's amazing how quickly the tide can turn. Like where one person's blocking, and then all of a sudden they're attacking. That's something I feel like I'm really missing a lot from this game. Is unless I catch them from the neutral, I don't know how to
By the best.
go from blocking to seeing something unsafe or just converting that into some kind of combo of my own, where like I can go from like a block string to a combo. Like my deal is I either win the neutral and do my combo, or I lose the neutral and I get comboed. And that's pretty much how my gameplay has been. Unfortunately, even when I win the neutral, my combo is very simple and short and not especially damaging. So
Now it's my turn.
a couple of things working against me, but for me to get better, I would have to probably take the character like into practice mode and or like go online and learn some combos and practice them, and you know, learn when characters' moves are unsafe and like when they're vulnerable. That's kind of like
You may have my
all the stuff.
Velvet wins.
That's kind of all the stuff you get from like just playing the game and like playing over and over, and you learn like what characters can do what, or what's, you know, what's a good idea. Oh man, I have not watched. I'm still trying to get caught up on like other shows, but I do want to catch it at some point. Where do we one? Let's do it. Oh, wow, went offline. That's interesting. I guess they didn't want the peanut gallery match. Let's see. How about this guy? Pancakes. Okay. Pings, let's do 0 delay. Sounds good.
Take your pick. Shanty.
That key's as good as mine. Land ho!
Haven't I seen you in a barn somewhere?
Round 1.
Oh, I get it, because she's named after a state.
Trick. I'll get you.
Hey, it doesn't look like I'm terrible at this game all of a sudden. Oh, you can do that going backwards too. Good to know. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah. Ah, overhead.
You done yet? KO.
Whew, it's a close one.
Looking pretty salty over there. I'll take it.
That was close. Round 2. Fight!
You're in for a trampling.
Oh, I don't know what just happened, but I teleported. Yeah, that's going to be at the end of this year. So, but that hopefully it's going to be a good one. I'm excited about Alfred Molina coming back. I really liked the Sam Raimi trilogy. Ooh. Ooh.
Looking pretty salty over there. I'll take it.
Shanty wins. Where to from here?
Alright, let's have another. This might be our last one, but we'll see.
Veterans McGinn.
Because we want to be able to get ready for the live letter. That's going to be starting in about 5 minutes or so. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I was guarding high, but it wasn't. Oh, that was good. Ah, close, but good.
Y'all were cruising for a honey whooping.
That was close. Round 2. Fight!
Nice scratch. You done yet? Y'all are in for a beating.
Oh, you hadn't? Oh, well.
Y'all are in for a trampling.
Definitely, I think a good one.
Y'all are in for a beating.
Ah, like dashed into it.
Y'all were cruising for a honey whooping.
That was close.
Should have jumped, but even then it probably wouldn't have been fast enough. That comes out real quick. Alright, let's do one more.
Where to from here?
We got ourselves a stowaway. It's me. I'm the stowaway.
Ready? Fight!
Behind ya.
Now, you may know this, although I don't know who like Shanty is supposed to be, like who Shanty was going to be in Fighting His Magic. Maybe Spike, but I have no idea.
And now you walk the plank.
Round 2. Fight!
Oh, yeah. Arizona is absolutely the Applejack analog. Now, it's also possible Shanty's just an original character, which, you know, good on him. That was good. Oh, I thought I might have escaped it. She was ready.
My mama don't raise no fools.
That was close. Final round. Fight!
Overhead. Yeah, that was terrible.
My mama don't raise no fools.
Arizona wins. Rematch?
Alright. So now it is time for the live letter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put us in Be Right Back. So I'm hiding my desktop essentially. I'm going to go ahead and fire up the live letter, and then we will we'll catch it. Let's see, where can I find this? Or rather, where would be the best place to find this? This is going to be the big question. Okay. Let's go ahead and watch it on YouTube. Wouldn't that be meta? Double YouTube stream. Okay. And then we'll go from game capture to display capture. There we go. That looks good. Alright, well, Nick, for those of you who don't know, I play a lot of Final Fantasy XIV, or at least I did at one time. Oh, we're seeing the title screen. I don't know if it just froze for me. Okay, there we go. Well, Endwalker. Kind of reminds me of the Heavensward one, where it's sort of a minor key with the scales.
皆さんおはようございます。おはようございます。Good morning, everyone. 第66回ファイナルファンタジー
Okay, yeah, they're going to be translating this one in English in real time. I see their translator up in the corner, so this is going to be a long one.
The Final Fantasy XIV letter from the producer live number 66. 皆さんにご挨拶お願いします。Thank you for watching. My name is Naoki Yoshida, producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV. 皆さんおはようございます。Final Fantasy XIV プロデューサー兼ディレクターの吉田です。よろしくお願いします。はい、そして今日はゲストにあゆみさんがいらっしゃいます。あゆみさんお願いします。
Hi. Hello, my name is Aimee. I'll be helping with translation support for today's broadcast. 今回の通訳サポートを務めさせていただきます。
Essentially,
よろしくお願いします。
it's a long-running Japanese role-playing game. It's been around for about 35 years now. Started on the NES. Two online games, MMORPGs, which Final Fantasy XIV is the second one. Generally pioneers, at least as far as like, visuals or some kind of gameplay concerned. This is not the best connection. It's a little bit iffy, so there's going to be some hiccups, it looks like, at least for the video. But it generally involves adventuring, fighting monsters,
Started just a little bit
saving the
late
world,
to this time.
what have you.
Of course, Yoshida had to step out to smoke a cigarette, but that's beside the point. We were trying to show off that opening sequence there on that screen.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of JRPGs. I mean, if that isn't obvious, by like 2 of my 3 days streaming are pretty like JRPG dominated. Next week is going to be Final Fantasy II on Monday, and then Bravely Default 2 on Wednesday. Both Square Enix titles, just like this one. I can see on Foxclown's shirt, he's the guy in white. He's got the pins for the new jobs on his shirt. He's got the one for Reaper on the left, and the one for Sage on the right. What, Squeaky? What, Skitters? I'm going to go ahead and announce to my FC that the letter's starting.
Thank you so much. It was quite a struggle, a big undertaking to make the different adjustments.
I don't know that they're going to be joining us necessarily. Oh no, don't do that. No.
Of course, with the
Okay,
fluctuating
good.
frame
That was
rate,
easy.
It is a very challenging element to kind of render, and depending on the quality of the rendering, it's quite difficult to get the timing just right. So we did struggle on that. I'm afraid it did delay us in handing over the animation over to the sound.
はい。で、今日はなんですけど、今日の PLL はちょっと特別
Not sure what they're talking about right now.
まず最初に今日がなんで
Unless they've got some trailer planned,
説明させていただきます。
which wouldn't surprise me. It's the job action trailer.
Letter Live is kind of special one, so let me explain what is the setup for today. まず、今日は通訳、あゆみさんに通訳に入っていただいて、
Yeah, it's like, what time is it in Japan right now? Let me see. They're like way up in the middle of the night, so that they're at a good time for us.
So we have Amy-san here, and she can help translating your student's speech. And then during the Letter Live,
Oh, it's 11 a.m. Okay, it's not that bad.
Yoshida-san basically speaks in Japanese, and then Amy-san translate his comments in English. So まず吉田さんが原
That's
則
not that
日本語
bad.
でシャボン
One,
の
two,
を
three,
説明していきます
it's not that
でそれを
bad.
あゆみさんが随時訳していってくれるというスタイルで進みます。で、私ですけれども、毎回これも言うんですけど、私は自分で訳していくんですが、今日何部か構成なんですけど、最後の最後のお知らせ
Know what that shirt
コーナー
is.
ので、
I mean, it does
私
seem.
からは大して重要なことは申しません。
It's a 14 shirt, and that is Alexander, but I've never seen it before.
通訳し忘れてるじゃんとかあっても気にしないで特に
Hey,
って言ってる
Booker.
だけだなって思っといていただければ
Skittles is making herself comfortable in my lap now that America isn't taking up all the space.
お願いいたします。So and then I will translate myself by myself. But if you notice, if I mistranslating something, but just leave it because nothing important information is coming from my mouth anyway. So until the end at the announcement call section, I mean, I am just nodding and then saying, what wow is all my job is. So just leave it. And then today's Letter Lab has 3 major sections. The first part is all about the new jobs. I mean, job changes.
Oh,
adjustments,
okay.
Followed by
So they're doing the meat
related
first.
updates. And then we are gonna have some other updates. So there are 3 major sections for today. 今日は大きく3部構成になっておりまして、
So they really didn't say
最
much
初は皆さん
then.
お待ちかね、ジョブ関連、全部お待ちかねなんですけど、最初はジョブ関連調整のお話をします。 続いてバトル関連、今日は主に PVE ですけれども、
はい。
I'm assuming that section is going to the second section is going to talk about the damage squeeze, which is a thing that happens in MMOs when the numbers just get too high and they start to like kind of condense it. And they've stated that they've reached that point with 14, so they're going to have to do it. I'm expecting a pretty heavy stat squeeze, but we'll see what if they actually give us that information.
Has the monitors for Nico Nico, Twitch, and YouTube
Oh,
broadcasts,
Becky.
and
All
he's
right,
following along with
calm
the
down.
comments. So don't mind him if he kind of drifts off to the side of the screen. He's just checking the comments.
Yeah, he's looking at chat like I'm doing.
で私のはちなみにこっち側なんで、私はこっち見てると思います。Yeah, my screens are placed here, so I will looking at this direction to check your comments. はい、皆さんのコメント、私の方は画面こっちにありますので、私がこっちを見てるときは、なるほど、なんかコメント読んでるんだなと思っていただければと思いますので、よろしくお願いします。
結構ね、見てるか吉田
English and Japanese are very different
寝て
languages.
るかとかね、書かれてるんですよね。あと眠そうって結構ありますね。
We were seeing comments like, "Oh, Yoshida's actually looking at our comments. Oh, he looks kind of sleepy. Is he asleep?" Etc. Etc.
寝てたらね、発売できないんだよ。
What am I doing
There's no
up
time
at this?
for sleep. We
at
won't
this
be able to
hour?
release the game if we're taking time to sleep.
だって14のほら巨大さはさ、皆さんもよく知ってるじゃないですか。たくさん遊んでいただいてるんで、あれを全部見るんですよ。もう何から何まで、サブクエストの端からね、ありとあらゆるものを
They do work like crazy.
寝てられないんですよ。
There's a lot of updates that happen with each
You
patch.
how large FF14 is.
It's
Well,
hard for me to like
it's
talk about
and
because I've been
we
playing for
actually
years.
check every single aspect of it, from not just the main parts of it, but even the nooks and crannies of the subquests as well. So there's no time for sleep.
まあまあなので、今日は
They had made a comment a few years ago about how each patch of the game, and these patches come out roughly every 3 months, has about as much text in it as a Kingdom Hearts game. Just that needs to be checked and translated and what have you. And that's just the text. Like there's always like quests and things that have to make sure that everything's working as it should. It generally does. Mistakes have been made before, but
Of
it's
course, as Foxconn just mentioned, we will be covering the different elements with this PLL, and we will have another follow-up immediately before the release of Endwalker, but we will be covering the different elements of the new expansion. So for this PLL, it's going to be primarily about the PvE items, the battle system updates, and the job changes. We won't delve too far into detail for each individual jobs, but we would like to go over the different concept that went into the different updates that we'll be making. Unfortunately, PvP and Disciples of the Land and Hand information will be next PLO, so I'm afraid we will not be.
okay. So they're not going to talk about crafting and gathering stuff or PvP.
であと
Excuse me.
特筆すべきなのは、まあやっぱりジョブのその例えば 6.0 の、例えばナイトがもうここがこうなってここがこうなりこのアクションがこうでこれの強さはこうですみたいなのは
This is very focused on,
終わんないっていうのもあるし
PvE battling and the jobs and I guess I can explain that a little bit. Every time they do an expansion, they raise the level cap, so every job gets new abilities as a result, and it can very much change what the job is about. And they tend to, and I think this expansion's coming out in November, so we're about the time where, like, 3 months before, they'll want to tell us about what's coming.
And of course, we also wanted to make note that with the different job updates, I'm afraid we won't go into detail, so we won't be like, oh, Paladin's going to do this, and the action's going to be like that, and Potencies is this and this and that. Well, one thing, if we said everything, it would take forever for the broadcast. But we will be doing a media tour where we invite members of the media as well as influencers to get a glimpse of the new content, some of the new areas, and
That's something
all
they've
of the
always done
jobs
before too.
available at the upcoming level cap of level 90. So they will be creating information and content to share with you, and they will go live after an embargo lifts. So I hope that people will tune into that information.
まあ結構ね、
So
今
no,
回メディ
no
アツアー
talent,
で
no,
楽しみな
no
のは
idea of when that embargo will lift, but
インフルエンサーの方も結構お呼びして
I guess they're essentially confirming that the press tour is going on, even though it's not in the strictest sense.
いくつかあるんで、まあその辺をね気力にしながら頑張っていこうかなと思います。
And the one thing that I'm really excited about is that we do have a lot of Western influencers joining us this time for this media tour. And so I am so excited to talk MMO shop with them in my interviews. So that's going to be kind of like what I'm going to be looking forward to.
Oh, so it hasn't happened yet. Okay.
はい、でこのメディアツアーの、記事とかレビューとかはですね、全世界一斉に10月中旬頃に公開される予定になっておりますので、そちらをぜひお待ちいただければと思います。So the review and the articles from this media tours will be available globally at the timing of the middle October. So please look forward to it.
Okay, so there's our
じゃ
timeline.
あ早速始めていこうとは思うんですけど、2点だけすいません。あと2つ確認させてください。
はい、
まず1つ目、今日お伝えしていく情報はやっぱりエンドウォーカー行月のフィナーレまだ開発中です。最後の最後、本当にギリギリまでバランス調整やってるので、今日お伝えした内容が変わる可能性があるっていうのは、まずご理解ください。
So before we jump into the main part of the show, we would like to bring up two additional points. First of which is, of course, we'll be talking about Endwalker today, but we are still making final adjustments. It is still in development, and so please understand that some of these elements are subject to change.
Yeah, there's always that
そしてですね
disclaimer.
もう一つ大事なことなんですけど、確かに私疲れております。疲れているのは事実なんです
Because
が、
you can't say it's all set in stone now, because something might change between now and then. Probably not much, though. In my experience, it's not much of a change. So generally, what they talk about is going to be pretty spot on, and it won't be unless something really breaks, and it probably won't even be after it releases if something like that were to occur.
言い間違いとか、ちょっとどもったりとかする可能性があるんですけど、今日はちょっとすいませんご容赦いただけると。
Which never say never, but
はい
yeah.
And one important thing, I am tired. That is a fact. I'm sorry. And people have asked, Rashida, are you angry? And I am not. I'm not. I'm just. This is the way I look. This is my face. So whenever I'm talking about something serious, I apparently give off the impression that I'm angry. But please understand, I am not. I am tired, so I might. My speech might not catch up with me quite. I might stutter at times, but please understand.
いつもじゃんって書かれてる YouTube。
Yeah, that's good disclaimer.
YouTube comments saying, but you're always like.
いつも疲れてる。いや、言います。You always tired.
さあじゃあ始めていきましょうか。まあ一応後ろ制限はないんでね、
はい、
ゆっくりやるところはゆっくりやっていけたらなと思ってます。
Nothing. They've just been talking about like
Okay, I think
timelines
we are ready
and
to jump into
and
the
you know
content
they're doing their
here.
press
I
tour
think
next
there is
month.
a strict sort of
and
time that we have to adhere to. So
They're
let's,
basically saying, you know,
go into
we're going
it,
to talk
take your
about
time,
job
and
changes and we're going to talk
explain as
about like
needed.
battle changes, and we're not going to talk about much else. So that's basically what they said so far.
Okay.
So now we're actually getting into the meat of it.
まず、まあもちろん大事なのはジョブ関連調整だと思いますので、ここから行こうと思いますが、はい、まず、各ジョブとかロールとか行く前に、そう全ジョブに対
It's some nice red mage AF right there. Machinist and dancer looks like in the back.
So of course, we are going to be discussing about the different job updates and adjustments. But before we jump into talking about jobs or even roles, actually, I do want to cover something that encompasses all of the different jobs in general.
Is this about the stat squish?
まず最初、
Or no,
ベ
maybe
ー
not.
スの方針なんですけど、こちらはシャドーブリンガーズ 5.0 の、方針をそのまま引き継いでおります。
So just as a baseline,
And
we
it takes them a long
are
time
sort
to
of,
say anything
building
sometimes.
upon what we have
Yeah.
adjusted in Shadowbringers 5.0.
まあもちろんその新たなアクションとかはあるんですけど、まあその新システムとかをね、各ジョブにこうゴテゴテつけたりして、もうそのさらにシステムを各ジョブ複雑化させ
Yeah,
るような
they've kind
ことを
of
して
have this history of like tweaking and
And of
changing
course,
jobs
with
as
the
it
new
goes
level
on.
up, we do add some more actions, but we haven't incorporated any sort of brand new system tacked on there or made anything too complicated.
まあもちろんベーシックのコンセプトはまあ50を引き継いでってるんですけど、まあ新しいアクションっていうのは当然たくさんあります。
Mostly, there's a translator who comes in and speaks English. I can turn it up. Let me see if this
まあ
helps.
その辺の方針は今日お伝えしていこうかなと思って
Does that help? Is that any better?
And of course, with the basic thought being building upon Shadowbringers 5.0, of course, there are new elements that are added leading up to Endwalker, and different elements that we have changed, may it be small or big. So we would like to go over some of the concepts or the directions that we've taken for these different updates.
でこうなん一部ねちょっと複雑にしてほしいなって3
So
点
yeah, these two are speaking Japanese, but she will usually translate
ちらほら見るんで
what
すけど
Yoshimi is saying.
やらないですよ。以前やって大変なことになったんでジョブの扱いは難しいわ、コンテンツは難しいわになってしまってやっぱりちょっとやりづらいと思うんで今が一番安定してるかなと思うので、この方針を、継続していく予定です。
And of course, there are a small
Cool.
group of you that desire for that complexity of what we've done in the 3.x series. But I'm afraid we won't go in that direction. It's quite a struggle because not only does the job actions become complicated, the content themselves make it kind of compoundedly worse. So I think we are at a good sort of stable place post Shadowbringers. So I think we would like to continue in that direction.
まあもちろん個人個人ね
I personally haven't heard this complaint much that the jobs are too simple now. I mean, some are, but I wouldn't say like as a whole people are making that complaint. But I guess apparently they're hearing that. They're like calling for a return to the more complex style of 30 seconds. Wow.
And of course,
Okay,
I'm
I thought that
sure,
was be
different
fixed.
players have different tastes. Some people might say, "Oh, I love the 3.0 series, 4.0 series, or etc." But I think looking at it from a general sort of perspective and from Yoshida's point of view, looking at 14 throughout these years, we do feel that 5.0 seems to fit as many people as possible. So apologies, but this is kind of the direction we're taking.
さあそしてもう一個全ジョブ
They're taking a lot of time to say
攻
this.
撃に関わるところなんですけど、主要な攻撃に関わるような、シナジーとかも含めたアビリティのリキャストっていうのをおおむね
That's
60
curious.
秒120秒の間隔に、各ジョブ寄せてます。
And another thing that encompasses all of the jobs is regarding their attacks and some of the like primary abilities and their recast timing. I think we've kind of equalized it to kind of lean towards that 60-second or 120 seconds.
まあこのあたりはですね、
Talking about
本
recast
来のコンテンツをやるときに、こうバースト薬を飲み、こう各ジョブアビリティ全開放してこうバーストするぞみたいな時に、まあバーストがこう一定周期で合いやすいように合わせやすいようにもちろんそれだったりしてるんですけど、まあ要はあと各ジョブこう別のジョブをやった時にも、サイクルってテンポ感は揃ってくるかなと思うので、まあその辺を踏まえてこうしてあります。
And this kind of takes into play when you go into the high difficulty dungeons and raids, where you have that sort of burst timing that you can match with taking your different medicines and then doing your different cooldown abilities. And you have that sort of relatively similar cycle depending regardless of what job you would do. So even if you kind of go into your alt job, you'd still have that kind of similar tempo or that cycle that you can keep.
I know there's been some call for that. And maybe they'll go that direction at some point, but we'll see, because they haven't said anything. All they basically said was so far was we're not going to make it more complicated.
There is a caveat to that.
当然ですね、全てをせ切るわけにもいかないので、全部が全部60と120になってるわけではござ
They
いま
haven't
せん。
said they weren't making things simpler, which looks like some things are simpler.
ご注意ください。
If all like recast
That
timers or
being said,
cooldowns are
of
going to be
course,
between
we
1 and 2
were
minutes,
not
well,
able
with some
to align
exceptions.
everything that's exactly 60 seconds or 120 seconds. So please understand that not all of the abilities might match up perfectly or exactly.
おい、クロマモン60秒になってねえじゃねえかよっていうね、ことがあったりするわけですよ。クロマモンはね、 残念ながら90秒リキャスト
Doesn't
ままな
apply
りますね
universally. Which I find interesting.
It's like the
I
ley
wonder
lines,
at
oh,
what
no,
point
it's
they're
not
like they
60
just have to bite the
seconds.
bullet and say, well,
No, that
I guess
one
this one's a
still
70
remains to
second
be 90
cooldown.
seconds.
Or 90 seconds.
Apologies.
90 seconds makes more sense to
いい
me.
ですよそう
So
か
it's a black mage.
捨て
That's
おかれ
really
てた
sad. They've neglected me. I am not aligned to your timings.
プロデューサーのメインジョブのね主力アクションがそのなんか寄せていく対象に入ってなかったっていう
It's kind of unfortunate. The main job of the producer of the game missed out on having his timings of his ability. One of the.
I'm assuming
main
somewhere
abilities
lengthened too, but
kind
they
of
probably
aligned to
adjust
that kind of cycle.
potencies accordingly,
公平に
maybe.
取り
I
扱われ
don't
てる
know.
フェアですよそういう意味
fair.
で
The
はフェアです
battle team treat every job fairly.
みんながパンボンやってる間にその30秒後に次の魔法を私開いたりして本当に
Still waiting for this thing to start.
空気調整中にも
なるほど
ございました
So like everybody else is doing their abilities and their nice cycled timing, and then 30 seconds later I come in with my ley lines, and everybody's kind of looking at me weird, like what is he doing off timing?
I've never paid any
で
attention to
は
that. I'm sure
です
some
ね
raiders
こ
do.
の全ジョブに共通するまあベースは 5.0 をそのまま準拠してますよ、でいろんな主力の攻撃に関わるようなアクションアビリティのリキャストが60、120にこう、寄ってますよっていうことによって結構変わるものってあるんですね、まあそれを頭の中にまず入れた状態で、見ていただきたいものがあるので皆さん頭の中に入ってます大丈夫
There's definitely some lessons I wish they would have
So
taken
again,
from, or
our
more,
previous
so a few more lessons they would have learned
is
from
kind of building
11.
upon that 5.0 Shadowbringers, and then
One
a
of
lot
which is
the
horizontal
primary
progression,
abilities,
but that's a fight
have
I'm not going
been
to win.
aligned to kind of fall in place between 60 or 120 second cast timing. So with that in mind, there will be abilities that
I just worry though that
change,
as a result of their like
in accordance to those updates. So if you could keep that in mind, and there's something that I want to watch, I want you to watch as you think about that.
So are you ready? 皆さん大丈夫ですか？
では約20分ありますので、
はい。
Play something it looks
私もコメントはしません。ぜひですね。
if it looks like it's freezing, it's freezing for me too.
あゆみさんここまでまず一回。
It's not my stream, it's theirs.
So we will be looking at a 20-minute footage.
20
None
minutes?
of us here will be making any comments.
Wow.
So if you could take
Okay,
your
so
time
they're
to
doing
watch
every
the,
job
the
action
footage, and then
trailer.
there's more to say.
さあそれでは。
Alright, well, here we go. I'm probably going to gap through this because it's going to end up on YouTube later. So
This is the 6.0 job action trailer.
here we go, job action trailer.
どうぞ。
Let's see this thing. See some flashy new business. Oh man. They're actually making a trailer of it. It's pretty wild. It's frozen for me too. Okay, here we go. All the DPS. Oh, not all the. Okay, Dragoon first. Here we go. Chevalier Dragon. Here we jump. Little jumpies. More jumpies. That's a movie already has. I think that's one he has too. And that one. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that now. We might just get new stuff. Huh, okay, that might actually be an upgrade to an existing move. Now we're into the big one. Yep. Oh, okay, that's new. That's pretty cool. Throwing the dragons out. Alright, warrior. Guerrier. Krieger. Nice. Yep, that was existing. Okay, we got our gap closer. Got big biceps. Spin the axe. Yep. I don't know what that was, but I don't really play warrior. Oh, okay, that's a new animation. I don't think that one exists. Gotta throw those. Yep, keep throwing them. Oh, nice. Cool looking ability. Oh, it's my one! It's the Mage Rouge! Let's do it. Yep. And then the flower. Okay, AoE stuff. Oh, Moliné. Okay. Moliné, there's another one. Okay, Moliné is giving you stacks. Interesting. And then, is that a barrier? Something defensive? Okay, that was Jolt 2, and it used the stacks that you got from Moliné. Oh! Oh! Moliné gives you the same buff as your melee combo. Okay. There's Scorch, and then... Oh man, we got a laser now. Okay, so I guess there's a third hit tacked onto the end. Alright, that's pretty cool. You know, it's funny, I was actually talking about Red Mage getting more tools for AoE, and it looks like they got it. So that's neat. Looks like not much incentive to get close, which is what I was hoping for, but is what it is. Got Scholar, doing things. Kind of has that limit break look to it. Yep, get out of there. Huh. Dark Knight, Chevalier Noir. Okay. Yep, throwing that. Gap closer. Got that salted earth. Soul Leader. Oh, that's a new one, I think. Protect someone else. Okay. Yep, call your buddy. I honestly couldn't tell you what was new. This set's sad. Alright, we got Dancer. These quit freezing on me. When I can see like the actual trailer without it stopping, that would be nice. Okay, throw in stuff. Can do that to get you. Oh! That was big. A big bird. I think that was another new ability. There's another new ability. Looks like more AoE ranged attacks, which is something that the Dancer lacked before. So that's definitely a nice change. And it looks like an upgraded healing ability, maybe? I don't know. Alright, Machinist. Ah, Bioblaster. Fire, yep. Oh my god, a shotgun. That's fun. Yep. It feels like, okay, the thing is stopping on its own too. Like, it's frustrating. Yep, still got the Queen's Gambit, or whatever it was called, I can't remember. Big O. Maybe it's a new super the Queen has. Just freezing a lot. Alright, Gunbreaker. Gunbreaker's fun. Let's see what Gunbreaker's got. For that red mage over there. I think you can store 3 bullets now? Final Fantasy VIII business. It's freezing a lot. I'm sorry. I mean, it's annoying. It's just as annoying for me. Alright, Bard. Hopefully Bard has some different stuff, because Bard is not in a good place right now with Shadowbringers. But honestly, I wouldn't be the one to judge it just based on the action trailer. I imagine Reaper and Sage will probably get their own stuff. See, I didn't see what happened with that because it froze through like half of it. Alright, here's Astrologers, another one that's going to be very different, I think. Man, I'm reminded of why I rarely watch these live, because this is terrible. I have no idea what any of this is doing. Yeah. Samurai. Oh, that's a new one, I think. We have new, okay, yeah, it looks like new AoE abilities. Which is really curious, because I feel like Samurai was in a pretty good place as far as like their AoE rotation, but having 3 AoE abilities seems to kind of mess with that a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. Hey Chad. Yep, that's the same. Oh, it has a follow-up, or you can do it twice, it looked like. Okay, that's the follow-up. It's giving yourself more sword. Oh, I noticed there's some little, like, bits down there. Whoa, okay. That's flashy. I don't know what the pips do. Alright, White Mage. White Mage became my favorite healer when the others got just destroyed, I feel like. Oh, I guess we get a new, glare? Well, they used the Blood Lily, but I can't see it because it froze. So something's on the field now. Oh, okay. Maybe whenever the boss does some kind of attack, or when you do some kind of attack, it does a group heal. That's pretty cool. Ninja. Huh. So it's an attack that gives you your speed up. That's nice. And then the freeze. That's cool. Oh, activated the after image business. Seems like quite a few actions now will reset your speed up bar. They might make that a lot easier to do as a result, like to keep it up. Oh, that's a new one. Oh wait, here's Black Mage. Let's see what you can do. Is that ley lines? Yeah, looks like it. Blizzard. Yep, throw that down for our ice thingies. Okay, there's a new thing I don't recognize. A little thing on the little corner there. Big crystal looking thing. More fire 4s. Is that flare? Oh no, that's the single target flare. Okay. And then maybe some kind of follow-up, and then we're back to Blizzard. Was that a new Blizzard? Oh, there's a Thunder. Freeze looked like. I don't know what that is, unless that's some new like switch. Ah, okay. So it's some kind of fire business. Flare. 2 flares. 3 flares. And there's the Scourge. Or Foul. And well, both. There you go. Okay. Seems like... Oh, hey, here's a new one. Here's Sage. See what Sage can do. If it doesn't freeze again, which it did. Alright. Shields up. Lasers, good stuff. Some kind of effect, I'm sure. Barrier. No, this is Final Fantasy XIV. It's just the newest expansion that's coming out soon. Yeah, Black Mage I didn't think was going to get much as far as, you know, like anything earth-shattering. Alright, Monk is probably going to be pretty different. Let's see. There's 3 new things on the bottom there. I'm not sure what that is. And if we can see anything. Okay, it looks like certain abilities are causing them to light up. Okay, so we have the 2 ends now lit up. Oh, they did the Chun-Li super. Got some punchies. Yeah, Endwalker stuff. Okay, so it looks like the symbol you get down there is defined by which actions you use. And that's gonna have effects, it looks like. Summoner. This video is going to be a lot better when it's not freezing every 20 seconds. There's Bahamut. There's some new icons under that bar, and I'm not quite sure what it is. That's fair. Oh, it's Garuda. Huh. Okay, that's neat. Crazy, wind business. It's like wind-themed abilities. Oh, Summoner looks pretty cool, I gotta say. Okay, then we're back to normal. Then it froze. Uh-oh, Titan. That is really cool how we actually get the thing summoned. And then we get some Titan-themed business. That is very cool. I'm behind this 100%. If it would just stop freezing, that would be really awesome. Oh, there's a Ifrit. Okay. See some fire-themed business. Oh, a gap closer. And a melee attack. That's really funny. I'm gonna swing my fiery book at you. And then there's Phoenix. Okay. Anything new to show with Phoenix? Oh, pretty much the same. Okay. Alright, that's cool. Here we go, Reaper time. Let's hope it doesn't freeze through half of it. Okay. Is this calling your friend or just some kind of buff? Oops. Now there's something left behind over there. Okay, see there's 2 bars on the job action of the job bar. Oh, here comes your buddy. Okay. Interesting. So it has some kind of effect on your buddy's attacks. Not your buddy, like your party members. Okay, I guess you can teleport and then teleport back, maybe? Oh, okay, here's some new kind of gauge with your pal. Is it counting down or is it counting actions? I can't tell. Might be counting actions. Because there's a timer counting down. Ah, there's a finisher. Okay, that looks cool. Okay, you want a cool dark power? Switch to Reaper. Don't be Dark Knight anymore, because Dark Knight didn't change that much and it's boring. Alright, let's wait for Paladin to not freeze. Okay. What do we got? Oh! That's an emptiness monster! That's what that is! What was it? The Thinker? It's smaller than I feel like it should be. We got emptiness mobs on the moon. Okay, that's cool. Chains of Promathia going on. I'm not even paying attention to the Paladin's moves. I'm too, like, fixated on that monster. Yeah. Swords coming down from the sky. That's cool. Very, like, Thunder God Sid. That was all of them, huh? Okay, yeah. Yeah. It just makes me smile when I see them. I have to agree.
はい、ジョブアクション動画ご覧いただきました。
All right, well,
So now
when
we
it, we
will
can watch it
start Job
proper when
action
it
video.
gets released on
ま
YouTube,
あまずは
probably
ちょっと
later
20分
tonight.
ぐらいでしたけどいかがだったでしょうかね。
But first of all, yeah, it's a 20-minute trial, so to speak. How did everyone do?
だんだん長くなっております。
I watched it. It didn't feel like 20 minutes, but it wasn't actually 20 minutes because of all the
まあ
freezing. But
やっぱり最初にお伝えした通り、まあ5.0準拠で、まあ正当に全体そのまま進化していきつつ、まあ主要リキャストが60、120に寄ってたりするので、あれなんかローテーションずいぶん間隔短くなったなみたいなのなと思うんで、まあそのあたりを順次ジョブごとにこれからご説明していこうかな
I think Black Mage got better in Heavensward, but it's been kind of hanging out
Of
ever
course,
since.
As mentioned earlier, our basis is 5.0 and building upon Shadowbringers, and so it kind of evolved.
I'm kind of excited about the Red Mage changes, and mostly in that it doesn't seem like it's changing that
primary
much. It's just
abilities and
more
expanding
AoE
aligned
stuff,
towards
which,
either
okay,
60
fine.
or 120. You might notice
I don't think I'm ever
that
going to not play Red
the
Mage, though.
skill rotations and the intervals between them may feel a little shorter. So we'd like to go into the different jobs now to kind of explain
Oh, they're gonna talk
some
about
of the
stuff.
concepts and ideas.
まあ
Some seem pretty different. Many of them, though, didn't seem that different at all.
召喚師が召喚師になっているっていうコメントが英語も含めて多いですね。
I feel like I see a lot of comments that are saying, "Oh, the summoner is now a summoner." They're summoning, and
That was a
that goes
comment
for
I
both the
made.
Japanese and English comments that I see.
私が見た中ではアルティ
The
マ
summoner is summoning. Oh my god.
So are you now Ultima Weapon? That was funny comment I found.
まあ
Well, I am now
召喚
Ultima
だけ
Weapon.
したく
Very
ないでずるい
good.
っていうコメントもあったんですけど
It's always those three, though.
まあ見せないと全部わかんないかなと思って、一応ね一通り全部載ってるはず召喚は。はい。
Of course, some of you may have noticed that the length that summoner is being featured is a little longer than everybody else, and they were like,
That's
not
just 'cause
fair. But I mean, it's quite a significant.
there's a lot of
change,
things
so we
happening
wanted
with
to show
Summoner.
off all that we can.
さあじゃあ皆さん頭の中にそれぞれご自身のメインジョブの映像ある程度
I don't care if it freezes during those parts.
思うのでここからロールのお話でそれぞれのジョブの話っていうので続けて
They're gonna talk about roles, I think. They did actually made a point to show what role each job was in as part of the
So
job
now,
trailer,
upon
so I
looking
feel
at
like this
the
is
job
might be
action
something
trailer and having that
significant.
sort of mental image of your primary job
shall
and what
see.
actions that you saw. We'd like to dive in. We'll start from the different roles and then go into the different jobs.
さあまずはタンクからいきましょうか。パワーポイントお願いします。
Okay, so jumping into the tanks.
Gunbreaker looked pretty cool,
Paladins.
and Paladin looked pretty cool.
さあ
I got more excited about the Thinker,
全体
but
的なお話です。
Okay, so,
it did. What I
tanks
did notice it looked
overall.
pretty cool.
はい、まずいいですよ、出してもらって。はい、一部の防御バフに関してなんですけど、
Thank you.
単にね、
I didn't know that that's how
それを実行するだけ
tanks
じゃなくて例えば、
This is really this is critical information.
直前に差し込むことによって
You should use your cooldowns at the right time, because then they'll work better.
重ねてうまく使うことで
敵
効果がねさらに付与されるとかいうちょっとテクニカルな防御バフを入れたりしてます。
So certain the certain defensive buffs, that you cast, we wanted to, of course, add some benefits to it. So not just simply like protecting yourself from, say, a tank buster or something like that, but we wanted to make it so that if you are using it in conjunction with different abilities and kind of using them in combination, it allows for greater benefits and sort of like a technical aspect to some of these defensive buffs.
なんかこれね、ジャストガードとかファインとかやるんだけど、サーバークライアント型のゲームでね、さすがにそれは無謀なので。
Oh man, I'm excited for the Steam Deck.
すごい効果の。
I got mine pre-ordered, but it's not gonna be like Q2 2022 for me.
の半分ぐらいでもとりあえず打っときゃいいやだと、まあなんていうの、一応軽減 10% とかは働くんですけど、その後についてる効果がちょっと無駄になるねみたいな感じなので、そこは効果を見てうまく使ってもらえるといいなって感じです。はい。
Okay, so we're not talking about something very exact like a guard just at the right timing or like a parry. That's quite difficult for something that's a client-based MMORPG online.
But that should be obvious to most people who play
MMOs. Of, some additional benefit for a short amount of time after utilizing certain abilities. So before you might be thinking, oh, okay, enemy is casting. I'll just go ahead and activate this ability when it's casting, and of course you'll still reap the benefit of, say, it's like a 10% damage mitigation, but there is a bit of a waste, and so by combining it with optimal like ability use, optimal times, you can reap even further benefits.
I don't know if this is making sense to y'all, but like I have no idea what they're talking about. That example means nothing to me.
And of course, these different effects do allow for different sort of effects that are being added to you. Some of these are a defense buff where it applies to yourself and a party member. So I think it does come in handy regardless of you main tanking or off tanking.
では次の項目なんですけど、これはねちょっと近接物理 DPS の共通なんですけど、今までウェポンスキルコンボ中にですね、例えばトマホーク
Oh, that's nice. So there's no reason not to use the range attack if you're not going to lose your combo when you do that. Okay, that's neat.
Next item was, and this kind of applies
I don't know if that only applies to tanks.
Melee DPS
Oh, okay.
as well, but
There you
whenever
go.
you are activating a weapon skill combo and you insert like a tomahawk.
That's
for
a
your
nice
warrior or
quality
something
of
like
life
that, like a
change.
ranged attack that would kind of break your combo chain, but we've adjusted it so that that chain is not broken.
Almost treats it like an off cooldown. I'm not sure how often I would use that, but I mean, that is a nice change. So you don't feel like you have to run up there before you can do anything. You can fire your range attack while you're moving and not lose your combo. I'm sure it'll come up from time to time.
So with the different actions kind of being adjusted so the recast timing leans closer to that 60-second intervals, your rotations will start to feel a little bit shorter in their terms. So I think it's best to explain it as the number of times that you are attacking and the different skills are being activated kind of goes up in your rotations, and plus without those interruptions, it does give you that feeling of you are making an attack.
I mean, I'm always a fan of pushing more buttons. That's why I like Dancer so much. You push a lot of buttons and it feels good.
ところがあったと思うんですけど、そこはグローバルクールダウンが無駄にならないのであれば使う局面というのもまあ出てくるだろう
I
し、
can't imagine it's going to make a
グローバ
huge
ルクールダウ
difference,
ン中
but
にあえて避けて
time will
すぐ戻
tell.
るみたいな方がいい時もあるし、まあそこら辺はタンクを使うプレイヤースキルが少しずつ差が出てくるんじゃないかなとは思います。はい。
And so, for example, say a boss kind of has this ranged, not ranged, I'm sorry, an AoE attack that starts from the boss and kind of goes outward, and everybody has to kind of disperse away from the boss. Some people don't want to break their weapon skill combo and include that sort of ranged attack. But with the sort of adjustment here, now we don't have to worry about like wasting.
Honestly,
our
I still
whole
fired it,
time
even though I'd have to
on
start my
that.
combo
Or
over
in
later.
some strategies, you might have to kind of decide when you deliberately need to time your GCD so that you can avoid some of those attacks. So I think this will kind of give the tank sort of strategy a little bit of range.
さあでは、
は
3つ目なんですけど、これもですね、タンクのみというよりは、物理攻撃をするジョブ全般に関わってくるんですけど、ちょっとちゃんとお伝えしますね。はい。
And then the third item, and this doesn't
Simplify
apply
the
just to
items
tanks,
more, it
but
looks like.
anybody who is making some kind of physical attack.
ちょっと
カメラにしますか。
そうですね、生カメにしてもらっていいですか。ですね、今までファイナルファンタジー14のベースのバトル計算式っていうものの中に、まあ皆さんねレイドとかやっててもこの攻撃は物理か魔法かみたいなよくあると思うんですけど、まあ当然物理攻撃の計算式と魔法攻撃の計算式っていうのがそれぞれ一つずつね、存在してます。はい。
So of course, with Final Fantasy XIV, we have this sort of calculations of the damage that is being dealt, and there's like a base or like a fundamental formula that is applied. And I'm sure those of you raiders know to discern if an attack is a physical attack or a magical attack. And each of these have their own sort of formula to calculate the damage that is being dealt.
これは新生14レルムリボーンを開発した時に、まあ、作ったものなんですけど、まあ、当時ねどういう風にさらにこう
Getting a little bit
バ
in
ト
the
ルをアッ
weeds
プデート
here.
していくかっていうのがいろんな可能性
I
が
feel like he's going to say that's not going to be as
ま
much of a thing anymore, but I don't actually know what he's saying yet.
計算数字と、まあ、魔法攻撃基礎計算値っていうのを、まあ、それぞれ設定してたんですね。別々に調整できるように。はい、で、
Because it seems like they don't like people asking for like more magical tank stuff, so they might just be like, it doesn't matter anymore. And like, because if there's any problem that 14 has is it's just too dang complex, we gotta simplify it.
So with Final Fantasy XIV,
Sarcasm.
Final Fantasy XIV being, oh sorry.
Foxconn or Yoshi P? The guy on the left is Yoshi P. He's the producer director, basically the head honcho. The guy on the right is Foxconn. He's a community manager. Basically the head of the community team.
In the battles, and we try to leave the different possibilities open. So the fundamental sort of physical damage calculations were set up so that we have two separate formulas going on. So we have the magic damage attack calculation, and then we got the physical attacks. And when we were initially thinking about these two separate ones so that we can adjust them separately, the team did determine that with the magic attacks, it does tend to be a bit more complicated in the different calculations. So the base, like the fundamental value, is set just a little bit higher than the physical base fundamental numbers.
で、まあレベル80になってもこの差っていうのは縮まらない基礎値だったので、で、もう今後
Yeah, yeah.
揃えていくためにこのベースに使ってた
I don't think he is. He's just. I think he's trying to create a visual aid while she's talking for the English-speaking crowd, because he's using the visual aid during the Japanese. But
And so, with the characters now leveling up to level 80, this fundamental number did not change as we raised the values. And so with this update, in order for us to make sure these are balanced, sorry, left, right, we kind of pulled up the physical base numbers so that it matches the magical damage attack.
で、じゃあそれをやるとどうなるかっていうと、まあ物理攻撃が全体的に強くなる。
It might be less severe than I'm thinking. Maybe they just altered the formula so it's more equitable. It's just, but they're taking a long time to say that. They could just say the damage formula is going to be more even than it used to be. But otherwise, it's the same. That's my understanding, anyway.
なるほどね。
バランスをちょうど揃えるために威力の数字が落ちてます全部。はい。
So what that means is that with the base numbers being equalized, the physical attacks would naturally become stronger by default because, of course, the fundamental number has been raised to match so that both of these are balanced. But that being said, we needed to calculate down so that the potency that is listed out as a number goes down.
Okay, now they've just complicated it needlessly.
なんでこんな丁寧にやってるかというと、この後メディアツアーで各メディアの皆さんからスキルの多分スクリーンショットが出ると思うんですよ。その時に
The physical damage floor has gone up, so the potency of individual moves has gone down. Don't freak out. I guess is what they're saying.
なんで全体の基礎計算式が上がってるんで、その分掛け算したら高くなりすぎちゃうんで。
The thing is, they're gonna crunch the stats anyway.
Saying Yoshida looks like a cat, but that's beside the point. So with the adjustment of the fundamental numbers going up, of course, we have to adjust the potency numbers so that even if it's raised, it stays the same. So the numbers themselves look like they're low. So I wanted to bring this up because now that we're going into the media tour and we're going to have members of the media and influencers kind of play the game and see the potency, and they would take photos or screen captures of the game screen.
Okay, they're trying to get ahead of a scandal.
Oh my gosh, have they nerfed some of these potencies? Oh no, this one has gone down too. What happened to all of these physical melee attacks? What the heck? But just please understand, the potency is noted as like a lower number, but that's only because our fundamental physical numbers have gone up, and it's to make it even out. So if it's across the board, you might notice that difference.
はい、という説明でした。これはまあタンクだけではなく物理攻撃を行う、例えば近接命令 DPS もそうだし、遠隔命令 DPS も。
Yeah, they still haven't given us specifics though on the stat squish. I just wish.
But of course, again, this is not just.
I wish they'd give us
tanks,
specifics, but I don't know if they will.
Physical attacks. So that means melee, like close range DPS, as well as ranged physical DPS, will be affected by these numbers.
なんか俺をヨシニャンって呼ぶのはやめろ。
Stop calling me Yoshinyan.
Oh my god.
48歳のおじさんにそれはないだろう。
I'm 48 years old. Please stop calling me cat.
あ、そうか。声だけだとね、機嫌悪いのってなるんで、確かに。まあ大丈夫です。ジョークなんで。はい。
And then people start to comment, oh, Yoshida sounds angry. No, don't worry, I'm not angry. I'm just joking.
はい。じゃあ続けて1ジョブ目ないといきましょうか。
I think it's not so much that the weapon does. I think it's just some
はい、
like
じゃあ1行目どうぞ。
specific abilities. I could be wrong, but
効果をね、残り MP 量気にせず使えるようにまあ調整したりとか、さらにさっきね動画でもご覧いただいたと思います。コンフィテオールから派生する三段攻防、勇者。
man, I use Paladin. I cannot remember what Confeitor is.
主になんで、まあこれ以外にね、もちろん多数の変更点追加あるんですけど、まあ代表的なところだけ。はい。
I don't remember what that move is.
As you
See if I can
know,
pick it up.
or I'm sorry, you see on the screen, Requiescat Cat will now be equally effective regardless of remaining MP, and then a 3-attack combo starting with Confiteor will be added. You may have seen in the job action trailer earlier, but yeah, there's this really neat sort of combo that happened after you launch Confiteor. So yeah, those are
Oh,
some of
okay.
the
That
major
was the
points. Of course,
swords.
there are
Okay.
other,
Yeah, the move
more
is
simple
is
versions,
a
like
finisher
Extended
for like
Ability
one of the
Boost, but those
stances.
are
That starts with
main,
Requiescat.
ones that we want to
The
pick up
sword
here.
comes up,
まあ、ナイトは
and
いわゆる
then
正当進化で、まあ、何
I
か
bet
が
it's all gonna be the same button. I hope it's all the same button because there's no room to put new
基本ロ
buttons,
ーテーションはただちょっとあまりに
and there's no reason to make new buttons because you can only use it during
考え
Requiescat
る
anyway.
みたいなのを今回入れてあります。
So with Paladin,
I hope it's all the
it's
same
just a
button.
straight evolution, kind of keeping in the trend with Shadowbringers going into Endwalker.
They're just letting you use
So
3 attacks
it's
instead of
not
1.
a drastic difference per
But
se, but
we'll
of course you
see.
don't want
But hopefully it's the
yourself to
same
be,
button.
brain dead as you're doing your rotation. So there are.
I think
some
Paladin's
aspects
fun
that
now.
Require some strategy, require some thinking.
で、突進のですね、インタービーンの、要は撃てる距離が、5メートル伸びて20メートルになってるので、まあ、その辺の使い勝手の向上もさせてもらってます。
And this
And,
Paladin
the
is
gap
looking
closer,
Kote.
Intervene has been adjusted as well. There's an additional 5 yawns you can move forward, so it's a total of 20 yawns you'll jump in.
Okay.
さあ、では続いて戦士。
You can gap close from further away.
Next up is the warrior.
まず一つ目、選手はですね、まあ、範囲攻撃のローテーションをやるに
I feel like AoE's just getting better as a general rule with this one. I saw a few characters, or a few jobs rather, getting more AoE tools. Seem like.
単体から範囲から単体みたいなところが割とスムーズになってます。
And then, so with this one, the first point, damage up effects can now be triggered and extended by AoE combos. So I'm sure as you're playing Warrior, at one point you'd always have to insert Storm's Eye into it in order to kind of sustain. But we have made it so that
Oh, man.
it can
Okay, wait. I'm
be
gonna wait until they
triggered
talk
and
about Red
extended
Mage
even if
because
you're doing your
it just hit me
AoE
like.
combos. So,
But
I think
we'll
it just
see
simmers-
because they might be
causes
making
for
changes
smoother
in general. We'll see.
transitions, if you want to do like a single target rotation into like an AoE rotation and back and forth.
先ほど動画でももうすでにお気づきの方がいると思うんですけど、2つ目、オンスロートとアップヒーバルからビーストゲージ消費がなくなってます。
And then the second point,
Okay.
and you may have noticed this from the job action trailer, but Onslaught and Upheaval will no longer drain the beast gauge.
I mean, good for Warriors. That's a job I don't really
現
play.
象の解放の実行後に発動できる新しいアクションが追加されています。
And then there is a new action that will be available upon execution of inner release.
Hopefully,
あと
occupying the same
大き
button.
なですね、現象の解放のリキャストが、60秒になってます。まあその分だけ回転数が上がるので、効果回数は3回になってます。でまあ頻度は、上がるんでだるさは減るだろうなと思います。
And note with the inner release, the recast time for that will be adjusted to 60 seconds. So you will have the effects for 3 times. And so I think that will kind of allow for like the frequency to be more often. So it kind of reduces that sort of dragging or lagging feeling.
あとはですね、オンスロート、さっきね、ビーストゲージ消費なくなったって言いましたけど、さらにオンスロートのチャージがタンク唯一の3なので、かつ新アクションがあれ結構遠距離からも打てるんで、実は機動力かなり高いです。
And then we mentioned about how Onslaught will not drain the beast gauge. We are also adjusting that to have a total charge of 3. And then with the new action that stems from it, it does allow for a lot of mobility.
あとは現象のたけりも今回パワーアップさせ
Okay.
てあるので、
Get more mobility is always good.
And then sorry, Genshin Takeri was I want to say nascent chaos. No, that's not it. ごめんなさい。I'm
いい
sorry.
よ、チェックしてから。
はい、チェック
She forgot the local name of the ability.
アクション名は難しいんですよ。
ごめんなさい、Genshinの。
ね、日本語と英語全く違いますからね。
Yes, they are.
かけり
This is unfortunately very common. They'll take so long to say like a few
It is
things.
nascent
and it becomes even worse when they have things translated. Because then things like this will happen.
It will also help you there.
はいという感じで
But you know, it's a good opportunity to hang out, and we can check out the game, and you know,
大
kind of
丈夫
chit chat in between the little trickling of information that comes out.
はいでは続いて暗黒騎士
I just find it funny that they complain about how long this takes,
Onto the
but
Dark Knight.
the method of presenting the information is very inefficient.
の設置位置がですね結構こうめんどくさかったグラウンドターゲットで、自分の足元に設置して
Oh yeah, you could plant salted earth using the mouse. Now you can't. Interesting.
新しく追加してます
So
Honestly,
with,
though, I don't think that's going to
Dark
affect me
Knight,
much,
Salted
because
Earth
I
will
really
now
just
affect
threw it
the
down
area
in front of me
immediately
anyway.
around you and make a new action available.
I don't know, how do you feel
You may
about that,
remember you had to
where,
place
like,
your Salted Earth,
You
but
can
now
no
it's going
longer
to
place
appear
it. It's just gonna
where you are
be on
standing,
at your
and
feet.
from there stems a new action.
まあ僕もそうだったんだけどマクロ作ってやってたりするのがもはや何なんだっていう感じだったんでもう変えました
I can't think of a single instance
So
where I
even Yoshida
put salted
had
earth
to
somewhere else
set
aside
up a
from right in
macro
front of
so
me.
that we
So
could place the salted earth. And so it seemed a little pointless, so we have made adjustments
yeah,
there.
to me it makes sense to do
で
this.
続いて、まあ、プレイヤーが新しいアクション、習得するので英雄の英神もその新アクションを使うようになりますよ素晴らしい
And so the second point was your Simulate firm will also gain a new action when you acquire one of the new job abilities.
I thought I saw that
So your Burning Shadow is
that
going to
shadow
learn
do a new
actions as
attack.
well.
まあ暗黒は今綺麗に結構ローテ回せてるんで極端に
But pretty small change.
はないんですけどただブラッドデリリアムのリキャスト
All
が、
things considered.
こちらも60秒になって、3回までの効果になってます、なのでやっぱりこっちも回転数は上がります
And so I think with the Dark Knight, the rotations are pretty clean and straightforward.
I still prefer
But,
Dark Knight from
one of
Stormblood.
the other changes that are being applied is Delirium. Recast time will be adjusted to 60 seconds, and that would be also.
I don't know what the
effective
current
up to
time
3
is.
times. So again, I think frequency will go up again.
あとはプランチカットの、
What does that move?
射程範囲も20メートルに、拡大します5メートル伸びるであとは新技でブラックナイトとは別に単体ターゲットの防御バフ
Probably not spelling that right.
And so
Excuse me.
plunge, again, that is also going to extend its range.
I don't think I've
another
ever
5
used this
eons,
ability.
so
It
that's
seems
over
pretty
10
good.
eons, and then there will be a new
That's
action
funny.
that's added separately from the Black Knight, would be a single target defense buff.
Okay.
はい、
Cool.
暗黒騎士はこんなところで、続いて
They're gonna get their own, What was the name of that move?
That's it
Cover,
for the,
essentially?
Dark Knight. So moving on to Gunbreaker.
It's not exactly the same.
はい、まず一つ目、サベッジクロー、ビケットタロン、いわゆるあれですね、ソイルコンボですね。こちらがですね、ホットバージョンで
Okay.
ファングから
Just reducing the number of buttons, or the things you have to put on your hotbar. That's always nice.
そう作業。
So the first point says Savage Claw and Wicked Talon will now swap in for Gnashing Fang on the hotbar.
Sorry to hear that.
But basically, your cartridge combo that starts
I
off
hope,
with Gnashing Fang will be
hope you
like
get to
a
be feeling
one-button
better.
combo where it will kind of replace the Savage Claw and Wicked Talon will swap in its place to do the combo.
なのでまあよくわかんないっていう人に
I have a feeling that's the combo that you fire when you use up one of your bullets. Which that makes sense. Having them have 3 different abilities doesn't make much sense to me.
で、3段目のビケットタロンが、
So yeah, that'll free up some room.
自動的にそれも置き換わるとい
Very
う
nice.
ことで、ホットバーがかなり節約できるんじゃないかな。
So just to kind of explain it further, basically, you, like we mentioned, it's going to be a one-button sort of combo that's triggered when you start off with Gnashing Fang, and then in that same slot, you'll have Savage Claw, and then once you've triggered that, you move on to Wicked Talon. So I think it'll definitely save space on your hotbar.
Yep, 2 buttons you don't have to put down.
まあその
Always
間に
fun.
挟む追撃アクションはね、これまで通りコンティニュエーションからのこう自動置き換えなので、まあそこは継続されています。
And then for any sort of actions that are inserted in between, it will continue to be continue to be continued. It will be able to use.
Yeah, it seems like the trait's not going to change aside from them all just being one button. So, you know, that's fine.
の後にコンティニュエーションで、追撃可能になってます。
And then the second point clearly states continuation will be able to be used following burst strike.
そして、動画でも出てましたね。特性によりソイルが最大3スタックに、増加。
Oh yeah, I've noticed that during the job action trailer. You get 3 cartridges instead of 2.
Of
So
course,
that's
you
nice.
may have noticed this in the trailer as well. A trait will raise the maximum number of cartridges to 3.
ラフディワイドの選択範囲もこれ他のタンクに合わせて5メートル延長されてます。
And then Rough Divide, of course, has been adjusted to match the other gap closers in the tanks as well.
でやっぱりこれガンブレーカーは
It seems like in general they want you to be able to get closer to the enemy from further away.
戦略的になってるかなと、そのボスのタイムラインに合わせて開幕から全部使い切っていくのか。
Although I very rarely use it.
っていうところは結構ポイントかなって思ってます。はい。
And then with the cartridges and the maximum stacks has been raised, I think that definitely adds an element of strategy. So you might want to decide if you want to go in full on and use up your different cartridges during the timeline, earlier in the timeline, or do you want to kind of save it for later, etc.
Can't think of how it's going to change my gameplay too much, but maybe top-end gunbreakers can find some utility for a 3rd cartridge. It didn't seem like there was anything that was specifically needing 3. Melee time. I would like to get to Red Mage, but I guess Reaper's here, so that's going to be nice.
じゃあまずメレー DPS 共通の変更点からです。一つ目、牽制の効果内容。
Oh, that helm on Dragoon looks pretty cool.
So first is something that applies to all melee DPS, but the effect for feint is going to change.
レイドでですね、
はい。
軽減の打ち合わせなどを盛んにヒーラーさんとタンクさんとしておりますとですね、まあ私黒マダからなんですけど、近接さんがですね。
Did it reduce all damage before?
牽制は
Let me see what Feint did. This is a roll action.
みたいな
なるほど。
感じにちょっとなっていたので、はい、調整をしました。
So with this feint, and this is probably applicable to a lot of you who go into raids. And
Oh no,
having a
reduces their strength and
discuss
dex, so it's a
beforehand
base stat
with,
reduction, but now it's just going to be
DPS and
reducing
tanks and
damage.
healers to kind of talk about, okay, so when are we going to place this? And they're like, oh, feint. Maybe we'll place it where auto attack hurts the most. So we are going to adjust that.
まあでも実際うまい本当メレーの人って実際には超大技の後に来るオートアタックが実はめちゃくちゃ痛くて、タンクも防御バフ張った後なんで実は AA で落ちるがあるんですよ。なんでそこにね牽制結構効くんですよ。効くんですけど、まあ、今回まああまりにもなので牽制の中に魔法ダメージ減少っていう効果も少しつけました。ただ当然効果量魔法ダメージ軽減の効果量はアドル、キャスターが持ってる、軽減の方が大きくはなるんですけど、無駄っていうことはなくなります。はい。はい。
So I mean, to be fair, with some of these bosses, you know, sometimes the auto attack that follows after the sort of tank buster or the large damage hurts a lot, and it's immediately after the tank has already used up their defense buff. So sometimes it does come in really handy to place feint right after one of those really large attacks. So we will there will be an additional effect of
I don't usually
mitigating
use feint.
magic damage.
Probably should.
Of
But
course, that being said, the proper like protection that you want to have against magic damage is addle that some of the casters would have, but just in case, I think it's
That'll I
that's,
use
a handy sort of
as a red mage.
benefit to it.
続いてですね、これさっきタンクでもお話ししましたね、メレー DPS もそうですが、遠隔
They already
攻
said this.
撃をした際に今までコンボ中断されてた
But
んですよ
yeah, it applies to melee DPS as well.
になりますので、ご確認ください。
And then second point is similar to what we had discussed during the tank rolls, but the combos are not broken by ranged attacks that are inserted in between.
はいはい。そしてもう一個も先ほどご説明
Okay,
しま
that's the
した
same too.
武器の物理基本性能の値というのを上げてますので、全体的に攻撃力が上がった分、威力という数字に関してはその上がった分だけ落としているので、ナーフしてるわけではなくて、計算式が変わったので、今までとは違いますよというのをご承知おきください。
And then third point is also, as we mentioned during the tank roll section, but again, with the adjustment of the fundamental damage attack calculation for physical attacks, we did have to adjust the potency so that it appears that the potency number might seem smaller, but it is still the same strength. We have not nerfed it. We just wanted to match it with the sort of upward adjustment of the fundamental calculation value.
Yeah.
はい。では、ジョブのお話に入っていこうかなと思いますが、よろしいでしょうか。
Okay, so we are moving on to the different jobs within this role. We're good?
まずは、竜騎士からいきましょうか。
First is the Dragoon.
はい、まあ、竜騎士もね、かなり、
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a common thread with a lot of jobs. It's just going to be more AoE in general.
So with the Dragoon, I think these also have a fairly clean and straightforward sort of rotation that you can utilize, but we've kind of expanded upon the AoE rotation.
で、あとはウェポンスキルのコンボローテーションをきれいに成功させていくと実行可能になる新しいアクション。これまあすげえ派手なやつが多分出てたと思います。
I don't know if they're referring to the 3-stage one or the 4-stage one. I'm hoping, I imagine it's going to be the 4-stage one.
The second point, a new action will be available upon successful execution of weapon skill combo rotation. It is quite flashy. You may have noticed something really cool going on in the video, but
でですね、まあ新技追加されたり、まあ随分時間が経って古くなった技のアクションの上位版が登場して置き換えになったりしてます。なのでボタンがねめっちゃまた増えるわみたいなのはないです。はい。
So with this one, of course, there are just new actions that are being added with the new level cap. And then with some of the existing actions, and of course, throughout the years, we've kind of upgraded some of these existing actions to become like a higher version of certain actions. And we've just kind of swapped them in place of the base skill. So it's not like we're going to be adding like additional like button presses or like additional slots you'd have.
This is something they've been doing for a long time, and it's something that many of us fully expected. They're basically just confirming that this is still the case. When I saw the trailer and there was that like flower petal ability, I just figured it was an upgrade of the existing one.
A trait, and so there will no longer be a need to execute it as an action or to maintain it.
Interesting. I guess they're doing the monk path on Dragoon as well. I suppose that's a good thing though, because it was kind of a pain. I mean, they kept making it easier and easier and easier, so making it, you know, a trait, then there you go.
Will be available at all times because Blood of the Dragon will be a trait.
で、あとはですね、スパインダイブが2チャージになっているので、まあちょっとね移動に使いづらかった。
The Dragoon's gonna be a little bit easier to use.
チャージ残しておけるように、溢れなければねロスすることはないので、1チャージ
They won't punish me for forgetting to fire the Dragon Eye ability.
And then Spine Shatter Dive is going to be changed to 2 charges. And some of you might have experienced like, oh, I wish I could have used Spine Shatter to kind of move over. But now you'll have that 1 extra charge that you can probably save So unless you kind of like waste it, but as long as you have it, you'll be able to use it.
I almost wish it didn't stun because I use it almost exclusively as a gap closer.
リタニーは120秒となっております。
And then Lance Charge recast will be changed to 60 seconds, and Blood Litany recast will be 120 seconds.
I don't know what those are. I don't Dragoon that much. Man, there was a time when I leveled every job and I knew them well enough to be able to like really comment on all the changes, but that is definitely not the case now. I really only know the ones that I'm most, spend the most time on, and that's a very small number now. It's pretty much just Red Mage.
まあ低レベルから使えるように習得レベルを変更してます。
Okay.
So next up is Monk, and so we wanted to explain this a bit. First of all, the gameplay element of stacking Greased Lightning will be done away with. So we are going to allow for chakras to be unlocked at a lower level.
そしてですね、もう一個、
Yeah, give Monk something to do.
必殺技っていうのを、搭載することになりました。
And then we are implementing a new system that we called Masterful Blitz.
ですね。
That's a Final Fantasy VI reference. Sabin.
新しく3
That's
つの
funny.
チャクラっていうものが、出てきます。
So I mean, it's been adjusted.
Okay, that's
fairly
neat. I like
significantly
that.
Overall, but just going into a bit, we will have 3 chakras.
で、さらに、陰と陽2つの陶器があって。
And then so there will be like a yin and a yang.
That was that light and the dark business that was on the job action trailer.
And
On the left and the right.
Getting like a balance of those chakras and the 2 different types of it will allow for the different skills to be activated.
Flashy business.
ちょっと分かりづらいよね。で、まあ。
Excuse me.
チャクラを付与する仕組みって踏みなりが起動条件になってるんですけど、踏みなりが、2スタック、チャージのアクションになってます。
So with this chakra system, you will need to activate it using perfect balance, but perfect balance is going to be a charge action that can stack up to 2.
しかも、チャージタイム40秒なので回転が早いです。
And stack, each stack is charged up every 40 seconds, so it's quite fast.
Huh. This is one of those that doesn't really fit the 6120 mold. Okay. So don't be afraid to fire blitzes because they're going to come back pretty quick. Okay, that makes sense. I used to like Monk a lot, and that seems like a good change.
And so, of course, the concept of trying to rush with the different skills that you activate and quickly going through these different skills has not changed. But with the implementation of Masterful Blitz, it does get a lot busier. So we have adjusted True Strike and Twin Snakes to not have like a directional condition.
Okay.
いいですよね。ここまでいいですね。
I think True Strike was the second hit, and Twin Snakes is also the second hit. It's curious that only those don't have them, because literally every attack has a directional
I know
hit.
A lot of you had enjoyed using this, and it felt great, but we will be taking shoulder tackle away.
ただ、純粋に新しい移動技、突進技
No more shoulder tackle, that's their gap closer.
But in its place, we will be adding a gap closer or like
Oh,
a
okay.
rush action per se. It will not be something that you use your fist.
ただ味方ターゲットして移動もできるので、味
But it is
方にその味方が離れてくれたやつにまあ魔文みたいなステップみたいなもんですね。
なるほど。
ステップして即ボスへみたいな使い方ができる感じです。
But with this rush sort of movement, it is going to be simply for moving around, but you can also target your ally or your party member to rush over to them.
Okay, that's pretty cool. It's a movement
say
action
you
like
needed
ninja.
To kind of go towards somebody who has
Or like Black Mage, I guess.
Off into the distance, you can rush over to them. So kind of like there's an action that's similar in the Black Mage's kit, but you can go in there to kind of close your distance with your party member.
まあクローマーの場合だと魔文を置いておいて、
Okay, that's fine. I don't think anyone used shoulder tackle for damage anyway.
できるんだけど、今回
Although I am curious if Fist of Wind would still have the same effect. Although it may not. It may have not for years.
そんな感じで、まあなので
Just goes to show how old my info is.
そうですね。
はい、殴らない技には
So I mean, with the Black Mage though, you would place the ley lines and then take a step and rush into your party member and then just go back to the ley lines. But with this new monk action, you can target where you're going to be moving to. So it's not just like a going back and forth. You can target your ally to rush over to them and then maybe run towards the enemy. So because of that, and you will be able to target your party members. You don't want to shoulder tackle your allies, but
いや味方は殴っちゃいますよね
Maybe I do want to shoulder tackle my allies.
さあちょっと文句の必殺技だけ
はい
実機で
やったぜ。
お見せしましょうかという感じでございますが、よろしい。
so
もう説明じゃちょっとわかんないと思うんで。
we want to show off an example of Masterful Blitz on the gameplay.
Oh, they're gonna show
screen,
us something.
because I think just explaining it with words might not be optimal in terms of trying to get the message across.
切り替えてよくなって
Alright,
よ
let's check it. Let's check a look.
わあ
Yeah, those three circles underneath the chakras, it looks like are related to this new Blitz ability.
新エリアですからね。
ね新しい
Because it's a new area.
New area
Yep,
new
thank you.
BGM
まあ当然ですけど、お伝えしてあるデノミネーションって入ってる状態なので、
はい
もう全体ギューってね、数字が縮んだ状態です。
Or just a word of note, downscaling has been already implemented in this build, so please don't be surprised if the numbers feel a lot more compact.
はい
Alright, that's cool.
おー
今の
It's like zooping, but it's target
So as
based.
you can see, that's the 3 stacks.
It's
テ
teleportation.
クニカル
Teleport
では
while zooping.
あるとは思いますけど、
うん
はい、30秒でチャージされます。で必殺技だけありますよ。
Quite technical with a 30-second charge. So let me show you the Masterful Blitz.
はいお願いします Yes please
海なり、
Pros.
Balance.
あ、ここにこれ溜まってんの見えますかね、3つ。
Can you see the 3 kind of below that chakra gauge, kind of glowing there?
はい、これがチャクラですね。で、ここに必殺技が出てるんで、これ3つ違うチャクラを
Okay.
つけたとき。
Something fiery happened and the yang sign lit up.
And so once you have those charged, up to 3 chakras that are opened up, you can unleash your Masterful Blitz.
で、それ今1個使ったことによって、
はい
陽
よ
陽の
陽の陽ですねはい
陶器がついておりますね。
ははは
So of course, once we have used that stack of 3, we now have an element that's associated with it. Between the yin and the yang, it's yang at this time.
で、例えばね、3つとも同じ
Okay. So it looks like 3 counts of Opa Opa. And there's
そう気泡がね
oh, interesting. The elixir shot brings us the yin side.
Oh, we have something there right now. But another example is if we have 3 of the same.
うん今イン
インが
インが
ついてますね
はい
Have yin.
インはいいんですよ
インの陶器が
はいインの陶器
インの陶器がついてます
The yin and yang. It wasn't in my glossary, so I'm going with yin and
そう
yang.
ね
But
まだないもんねでこの状態で、
はい
さらにチャクラをつけて
あ
It's been freezing like this all night, unfortunately. So we didn't even get to see that.
now you have the other side, and then you stack your 3 chakras again, and then you unleash a pretty flashy move there in your Masterful Blitz.
なるほど
はいというわけで忙しいのでまあこの、聖剣好きと、総称だだけ方向指定がなくなって、まあ他は残ってます
なるほど
はい
But yes, so as you can see, it is quite busy with trying to maintain that gauge. So that's why we adjusted the 2 True Strike and Twin Snakes to not be restricted to a particular direction.
Seems like it's not going to make much difference though, with all of them having
皆
directions.
さん
そうですね
お仕事を奪ってしまう
So I think we will leave it at that. And
Okay, so we just didn't
don't
get to
wanna
see
take
it.
away from,
We'll see it in the job action trailer, hopefully,
content. So
once it comes out later.
となります敵視リセットしてもうパワポに戻っている
はいパワーポイントです
はいさあでは続いて侍行きましょうか
お願いします
Samurai from the trailer looked like they had a new element to their AoE rotation. But I was saying earlier that like I feel like the AoE rotation was just fine.
バフを範囲コンボでも付与できるようになったので、これ戦士とも同じです。範囲めっちゃだるかったと思う。
Like I thought it made sense the way it was, but they changed it.
So first one is effects granted by Jinpu and Shifu can now also be applied by AoE combos. This is kind of similar to the warrior, but when you're doing your AoEs, it won't be so like not boring, but like it's strenuous and time consuming because the effects are applied to AoE combos as well.
新たな居合術と、つまべ返しに相当するアクション、新たに追加されております。
A new EI Jutsu and an action in the vein of Tsubame Gaeshi will be available.
ちょっと待ってね。いやもう竜騎士のコメントがね結構でもちろん竜騎士もねちゃんと範囲書きましたね範囲のローテーションちゃんと拡張されてるんでそう竜さんも大丈夫ですよはい
People seem to be concerned about the Dragoon, but I did mention, right? I did write it down. We have expanded upon the AoEs.
パポに書いてあるんでご確認ください
It's on the PowerPoint. Don't worry. Please check.
で、
Yep, they did say that.
侍なんですけどやっぱピュアメレ DPS として思いっきり精
Well, now that I think about it, I'm not sure that Monk had any like new AoE tools.
So with the samurai, of course, we wanted
Except for the jumping
to kind of
around.
expand upon that pure melee DPS.
新技追加が主なんですけど、ツバメ返し、それから明鏡止水のが2チャージのアクションになってるので、コンテンツに合わせてのね、開幕バーストとか調整の余地っていうのは結構増えたかなと思います。
And of course, with the samurai, because it's just a straightforward sort of evolution from the last expansion, we have just primarily added new actions, but the Tsubame Gaeshi and Meikyo Shisui have become stackable to 2 charges. So whenever you go into a particular content and you want to go into a
I don't know
fight
what that was
with
either.
that sort of burst of attack, there is a bit of wiggle room if you wanted to like make adjustments there.
で明鏡止水状態ではですね、コンボの3段目に該当するアクションを打つとコンボ2段目のバフが得られる。明鏡止水の状態の時だけですけどね。そんな風になってるんで、使い勝手自体も向上してると
Oh,
思います。
okay. It's the one that lets you do
And then
your
when
your
you are
yaijutsu
under the
again.
effect of Meikyo Shisui, and then you go into that third phase of your combo rotation, you will be granted the effects of that second combo action. So we're hoping that that will allow for ease of use to be improved.
はい。
はいはい。じゃあ侍は以上でございます。
Okay, so that covers the samurai.
では、続いて忍者です。はい。
Next up is ninja.
こちらまず一つ目ですけど、フートン、ドトン、ライトンにですね、それぞれに
What I noticed with
これ
Ninja
らをベースとするアクションっていうのを追加しております。
that oh can't
With
remember the
this
name of it.
one, actions linked to
Suiton,
Raiton,
maybe?
Doton, and Huton will be added.
Maybe it was Huton.
で、あとはですね、アクションで、
The one that makes your
フートンを付与できるっていうものが追加されているんで。
Okay, yeah, Huton was the one.
フートン
It's the one that speeds up your global cooldown, and it looks like a bunch of different abilities will just give it to you at full
And
full
then,
timer.
action, making it easier to
I
apply
feel like
Huton
maybe in
would be
6.0 they're
added,
just gonna say
so,
Huton's a
whenever
trait
you
now.
do want to sort of apply or keep Huton, and
Because it
should,
seems like we're
allow
just
for
about
you
there with
to
how it
do
was
that.
now in the job trailer.
まあ結構
Like just going through your
忙しい
normal
状況
kit, you're gonna
まあ
apply Huton 3 or 4
そもそも人数も
times.
ミスしてられないし、これ以上忙しくならないようにしてあります。
And of course, with the ninja, it is quite busy. And of course, you can't miss any of those ninjutsus that you are doing. So we tried our best not
Okay.
to make it.
Thanks
even
for
busier
dropping
than
by.
it
I
is
hope you
already.
rest well. And hopefully tomorrow goes okay for you.
してくれって書いてあるんですけど、
Have a good
残念
night.
要因はございません。
なるほど。
はい。
People are saying, "Oh, we don't want the fourth sigil." But don't worry, we do not have that.
かつですね、今回映画がなくなっております。ですので、ドットがなくなりました。
And of course, we have done away with Shadow Fang, so the dot will be gone.
ドトンやライトンの追加で、まあさっきね、新たな攻撃、まあこれ動画にもありましたね。で、分身の術の効果時間中に使える専用アクションなんかも、追加されたりしております。
And then, of course, as mentioned, there are some new actions that are linked to Doton and Raijin, as you may have seen in the video. And then when you are using the, I'm sorry. Whenever you're using the Bunshin, there is going to be a specific action.
I feel like
that
this
will be
happens every
added to that
expansion
as
where
well.
like she'll be unprepared like with what moves they're talking about and like is translating live instead of having like prepared what they were going to say.
Ninja.
And it causes this already like painfully slow process to become even slower.
こちらでございます。
And it's like they never learn. Every time it's the same thing.
はい。
Last but not least, this is our new melee DPS job, Reaper.
Okay, he's probably going to be focusing this one quite a bit.
お伝えしていきましょう。両手釜、新しい武器、両手釜による攻撃、まあ自分自身の攻撃と、まあ自分にくっついてきているアバターという、キャラクターとの連携で攻撃をして。
It seems like many of
最
these
終的にはアバターを自分自身に表
many of
現
these
させる
jobs you have something that's kind of long and then also something that's kind of,
ことができ
you
ます。
know, just there.
So of course with Reaper, they
So,
use
a couple of
the
bars.
scythe, like a double-handed
And
scythe
then an
to
icon
attack. So you have
for
your
your
own
buddy.
attacks that you are unleashing, and then you have the avatar that will also attack at the same time. So you're attacking in tandem, and then plus you will be able to service the avatar's vessel And so you allow for it to kind of possess you to unleash even more powerful attacks.
続いての項目どうぞ。で、1個だけ、
ほ
まあシナジーパーティー強化するシナジーバッグ持ってる。
う。
Just one one job that does this. There's it's able to grant enhancements to party. Sorry, this is the only like synergy related action that this job has.
じゃあそう動画でもね、なんか知人さんかな、からなんかね、まがまがしいものを見撮ってましたね。なんかね。
You may have noticed in the video, Reaper was trying to take something out of the bard. It looked kind of ominous.
I didn't think it
で
looked ominous.
まあ移動結構特徴的だったりもするんですけど、どうぞ。特定の状況でまあ結構役立つアクションとか特徴的な動作をするアクションが
They're not telling us anything.
今までちょっとまたタイプが違います。
It's like-
進捗だけあって。
And you may have also noticed
I
this
think,
in the video, but
you know,
some of the movements.
We knew about the
that
avatar. They
Reaper
talked
does
about
is
it when they
quite
announced the
unique as well.
job. The fact that
And so
they'll have an
it's a
ability
really
that gives party synergy is something that most every job has, except for Samurai. The fact that Samurai doesn't is especially noteworthy. And it's like, oh, it's going to have unique abilities that will give it advantages in battle. I'm like, okay, that's
So just
every job.
A very rough and sort of general explanation.
So they're telling
of
us
flow.
nothing, essentially.
まずこの画面にある2つの
Study the job action trailer. I guess we'll figure stuff out then. Oh, well, the media tour, that's true. The media tour is going to have
So you can look
tooltips,
at
and
the
people are going to
job
capture that,
there. You see
and
two
they're going to
different
post about it,
sort of
and that's when we're
gauges,
really going to
but
learn.
One of them, the top one, is the soul
This
gauge.
isn't.
でまあ
This
ソウル
isn't
ゲー
much.
ジを貯めてアバターと一緒に
Yeah, once they have the tooltips and the potencies, like then you can really figure it out.
And then,
So like, I
with
guess it kind of leads me to
part
wonder why
of
they still
the
do
soul
this.
gauge in order to unleash different attacks, and this also applies to some of the attacks.
Wait for the
that
media
you
tour
unleash
next
together
month.
with your
Then we'll get
avatar,
the real. Then we'll get
that
into the
would sort of
weeds.
Deplete some of the charge that is built up in the soul gauge.
でそのアバターと一緒に戦うとシュラウドゲージっていうのが今度は溜まるので、それが一定以上溜まるとアバターと融合できるようになるので、
なるほど
最終的にはアバターと融合してさらに特別なコンボをバラしていくみたいなのが基本になります。
And then once you unleash the weapon skills using your own attacks plus the avatar, then a second gauge starts to fill up. That is the shroud gauge. And with this accumulating charge, then it will eventually allow for you to kind of let the avatar kind of merge with you. You would become the avatar's vessel, and then you are able to unleash even stronger special combos. So that's kind of like the basic flow.
どちらかというと、ピュア DPS に近いです。結果。そうなります。
So, because of that, I think we lean towards that sort of pure melee DPS. It kind of resulted in that way.
侍の方がピュアではありますけど、侍と同等のピュアディメレ DPS とは言わないですけど、ピュア寄りです。
なるほど。
はい。
Of course, our samurai is definitely a pure melee DPS. So it's not quite as extreme as the samurai, but I think it does skew towards that sort of melee, pure melee.
じゃあこちらも
It's
見ない
not
と
quite as
わからない
samurai, but it's more like samurai than
ああ、わからない
one of the others, I
見
guess.
ないとわかんないのでちょっと
Dragoon or
コ
monk.
メントを見たので実況を見てみましょうか。
And I think I see a lot of comments
You're not gonna be
in
making
YouTube, I think.
Partners like
saying that,
Dragoon.
"Oh, but we won't understand unless you show it to us, please. Pete, show us just a little bit." So allow us to show it on the gameplay screen.
Okay, guess they're gonna show us a little bit more.
こちらが。あ、鎌持ってる。Yeah. She has size.
Yep, Dark Knights use scythe, or Reapers use
プロデュー
scythes.
サー兼ディレクターがステージで来て社長と一緒に並んで写ってる写真で
あんた
Good
の
job.
会社って言われてた。
Oh, this reminds me of a certain outfit that a certain producer director of a game had worn at a certain event and stood next to our sort of CEO and made people wonder, what kind of game is this?
Someone had done a meme of the Reaper icon to make it
Just a
like Kirby holding a scythe,
overview,
and now I can't
and
unsee
kind
it.
of take you
Too
step by
good.
step.
お願いします。
Oh, here come the mouse.
Sorry, one moment. We're gonna prep.
でこれ1個ね。
Oh, hey, we got a few tooltips in Japanese.
じゃあね、シナジのやつにかけました。で、なん
We've
か、
applied the synergistic
デバフを
ability
入れました。
and applied a debuff.
Huh?
で、
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I just woke up. I can move it, or if you want to move it, I'm not gonna. It's not gonna hurt my feelings.
Back side. I'm sorry, side.
Oh my
attack,
god.
attack, attack. Oops. I think we
Cute.
ran out of charge. Sorry.
I'm not awake enough to dodge it. It's gonna hit me, and like the headset's gonna come off, and it. Yep,
So,
that
As you
happened.
can see, when you continue to hit the enemy, the soul gauge kind of fills up.
I got a new pillow yesterday, and this part, yeah, it's my husband pillow, and this part was supposed to be the headrest, but neither of us particularly like it, so I'm gonna try and use it as lumbar support occasionally
で、
when I'm sitting up in bed,
でこんな
or I
感
might
じで
just keep it around and let Ava use it as a bludgeon or
Sorry,
something to
kind of
something to
arch-
throw
jump
at
into the
me,
translation.
as she is wont to do.
で、これでシュラウドゲージが50に。アバターを使えば使うほどシュラウドゲージが溜まると思ってくださいね。
That's
And
fair.
again, just a reminder, once you attack
Taylor
using your
did instruct her to
avatar,
throw
the
soft
shroud
things
gauge
at me.
starts to fill up.
で、これですね。
Tooltips.
変身します。
And transform.
こんな感じ。
わあ。
Now there's effects on you.
これちゃんとね、
It looks like your face mask comes off.
このモードに一人一人なりますんで。
But yeah, each of your
Mm.
characters will take on its own form, or not its own form, but I'm sorry, it's going to take form, and it'll still be your character.
完全にダークサイドになりました。
Yeah, you're just gonna be
Yeah,
making
now,
a mean
yeah,
face,
completely fold into the
and
dark.
and you'll do a different pose. Of course it's gonna be your character. Why wouldn't it be your character? Why are you saying these things to us? I only have 10 minutes left of the stream, and we have
This is
not
very,
gotten to Red
very,
Mage.
Emo.
It's making me sad.
で、ちょっと移動アクションなんですけど、
はい
変わってまして、このポジションから向いている進行方向に対して前に移動するアクションと、
はい
後ろに移動するアクションがあります。
So as for a gap closer, there's a move where
Becky.
it'll allow
Oh.
for you to move towards like forward, and then there's a way to move kind of backwards.
で、その位置にですね、ゲートを開けておくことができる一定時間、勝手に残るんですけど、これでここにゲートのことです。
Oh yeah, that one that creates that portal behind you.
Basically, you'll be opening a gate of sort, like a rift that you can go through, and it stays open for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
で、ゲートが閉じる前であれば、
Seems like a temporary ley lines for you to jump back to me.
So if you are able to move before the gate closes up, you can go back to whatever position you started off from.
Okay. Now you're thinking with portals.
まあ僕、今調整メインで、
I can't imagine that there's gonna have much utility though,
調
honestly.
整でリーパー使ってる子は、
But who knows?
アンチにあらかじめ一旦ゲートを置いておい
Looks
て
like they show a recast timer.
ギ
You
リギリまで
can't
なる
use
んですけ
one
ど
and
み
the
たいな
other.
なるほど。
Of course, right now we're just making adjustments to it, so it's not like this is a main job or anything, but you would a way to go about using this gate is to kind of leave it where it's in front of like an enemy of sorts, and then you close the gap towards them, hit them, and then go back.
じゃあどうしようかな。そうね。ビートブレイクスだけど違う。
Some kind of buff. Yep, call your buddy. Freeze.
ちょっとここから早いですよ。融合した後。
Really quickly after letting the avatar take over.
すごい。Yeah, it's very
That's
fun.
pretty cool.
融合すると
Very flashy.
ちょっとプレイ速度変わるので、
うん。
結構テク
RP
テクニカルですね。で今までのように
That's funny that it's RPR.
なんだろう、単体技でゲージを貯めてってよりは、このソウルスライスとか、割とチャージアクション使って一気に50貯めて、長めにこうソウルゲージを貯めてようやく呼び出してみたいな感じじゃなくて、どんどん切り替えていくことになるんで、プレイ感今までとかなり違います。
But with the tempo of these different actions that you have to do, it is quite fast. So it does require a lot of like technical aspect of it. And it's not necessarily like a single target all the time. Sometimes it's like a soul slice, and adding some different abilities in there. It's not like an endurance thing. Like you don't like build and build and build and build and unleash at one time, but it's quite fast. So I think the play style is quite different from what we had previous with it compared to any of the existing jobs.
See, that's kind of how I feel about Summoner, is that you just kind of are going the whole time. At least at level 80.
楽しかったっす。
That being said, looking at the different jobs, this one included, the
And I actually would wonder
good, so
if
I think it is,
Summoner's going to
quite
maintain
interesting.
that. It doesn't look like it will, but we'll see.
これはね、結構やり込んでいただけるんじゃないかな。
It's funny, I found myself most interested in Summoner aside from Red Mage. And maybe Sage too, and just the healers in general. But I'm not.
Hands on it and try it out. I
It's
think
not so
something that
much,
you can,
you know,
kind of master and try to.
that I want to play them. I just
kind
am
of
so
make the
worried
most
that they're
out
going
of
to be
it, 'cause it is quite fun.
not fun to play. And then we'll basically have the same problems we had in Shadowbringers, where like it was hard to find healers, at least for a while there.
ならないようにしていかなきゃいけない。
We'll see though. I mean, Sage looks cool, so maybe like that cool factor alone will allow
きっと出るだろうなと思って
for a lot of Sages to play for a while
したかったんですけど、
うん。
意外となんだろう、いい感じの難しさになったかなとは思うので、まあ練習したらしただけ。
I mean, there's gonna be a ton of Reapers. Reaper looks cool, so there you go.
But of course, you have to be mindful of like resource management.
I'm sure I'll give it a try.
Making sure that your gauges are up and you're going through this properly, managing it properly. And of course, with this being a new job, very flashy moves, we expect it to be very popular. And so we were torn about making it a little bit less challenging, so to speak. But I don't know, I think it's a good kind of difficult. And again, it's something that would be fun to kind of master. And the more you delve deeper into it, the more I feel like you can get out of it.
まあベースの
I don't know that we're ever gonna get like
ここしていかない
really difficult jobs to use, at least on a surface level, and that's kind of really all you need.
存在するものもあります。なんかそこはどっちかというと味付けです。
I think we're gonna be wrapping this up here in a minute. I don't know how much further we're gonna get.
Of course, the base combo
'Cause
doesn't
I'm
require
just
any
like-
sort of directionals, but once you start involving
mean,
your avatar, there
To
will
me,
be
the job action
some
trailer
level of
is the
that, but I
biggest
think it's
thing
just-
about
it
this,
adds
and we got that
flavor
already. And
to,
unfortunately, it was not the
different
best because of
abilities
all the
that you're
freezing.
using.
But that is gonna be released soon, and it will be on YouTube, and we can watch it anytime. And then the numbers will come out with the media tour next month, so that's gonna be another big point, because then we're actually gonna be able to figure out, okay, how are these jobs going to work? Aside from their vague statements and,
And then we also
showing
have
off
those
stuff.
people saying, "Oh, but it's an easy job" in the comments, which is not true. You are going to be moving around the battlefield pretty quickly, and you're also trying to get through your rotations very quickly. So, and you also have to remember, okay, so I've used this skill, so where does it connect to next? So it's not easy per se.
今ね
It's a melee.
YouTube でね
That's how melees are.
ねプロテストが
I feel like most people probably more or less know what to expect from melee classes. Like, you're going to be moving, you're going to be using combos, you're going to be having to juggle your OGCDs, there's nothing really to suggest it's going to be significantly different than the others. Oh yeah,
But
they're not going to show that off.
In this world that we created for the media tour, we don't have the debug command to unleash the LB3, or we don't have the debug command LB3 freeze. So sorry, I'm not able to show it to you.
ただですね、もうすでに公開しているベンチマークトレーラーの最後に、ゼノスが使ってるなんかすごいやつが、リーパーの LB3 です。
ああ、なるほど。
はい。
Yeah, I thought it was part of
But
that.
That being said, you may have seen the benchmark trailer, but when you see Xenos at the end, and he does this really flashy move, that is the Reaper's LB3.
なのであれをご
Yeah,
覧いた
I
だくと
feel like I couldn't tell you for the life of me what it is or what it looks like, but I do feel like I've seen it.
So I think that would be a good reference if you want to see what the Reaper's LB3 looks like.
Yeah, go watch Xenos do it.
はい。ではちょっとこれでまあリーパー終わりにしようと思うんですけど、
はい
まあ2時間になるんで、
そうなんです。
3休憩と
はい。なので、ここらで一旦ちょっと手短に10分ぐらい、10分休憩ぐらいを
はい
が挟みたいなと。
はい
で、休憩開けたら残りの遠隔
はいはい
シリーズの DPS とヒーラーに行こうと。
全然4時間どころじゃ
I
ね
don't
え
know if we're gonna really get any further than this.
数字で言い
I
ま
guess
すと
we'll call this a stream. I don't know if I'm gonna make it all the way through. It's just too slow, and I'm reminded of like why I don't usually watch these live. If you want to catch the rest of it, it is also on YouTube. They are streaming
we would like to take a 10-minute
on
break
Square
and we'll
Enix's
go back
channel,
into the
and then,
remaining, DPS.
they'll probably be going for another couple of hours at the pace they're going. So,
break.
ですので、ここから
So yeah,
10分間休憩取りたいと思います。
next week it will be
予定外のマジ休憩
Final Fantasy 2 on Monday, Bravely Default 2 on Wednesday, and then Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, celebrating the Season 4 release on Friday. And yeah, that's going to be next week. And I mean, we'll probably continue on the following week, barring some other change, but we'll have to see what comes up. But until then, fair winds in your travels. I'll see you next week. And yeah, if you want to resume this thing, their channel is live here on YouTube as well, and they'll be back in, I guess, about 10 minutes. So yeah,